Like what fueled her body.
Hello! Welcome back to Chewed Gum. I love when the intro starts and in the chat, people are like explaining that they're dancing to the music. Like, I know you guys are all like throwing ass when Grind Don't Stop starts. And it makes me laugh every time. Anyway, today is September 9th. It is Tuesday. It's Tuesday. And I'm Alyssa, and we have Taylor here. Hey, Taylor. Are you muted? Maybe. You are.
Damn it. Okay, yeah. How you doing?
I'm good. I think. I'm trying to think if anything crazy has happened today. Not really. I watched a documentary while I was like doing some sort of mindless work. I had a documentary on in the background about a woman who went missing on a cruise ship, and I didn't really need...
Yes, I watched that one.
Oh, it was really sad.
I watch a lot of documentaries. Too many.
I didn't need more evidence that I don't ever want to go on a cruise, but that really, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that ever again. Or not ever again. I've never done one, and I never will.
Yeah,
no way.
When people say they have no interest in cruises, I'm like, I don't think anyone can blame you, because I feel like so many things could go wrong, and that's or Poop Cruise. Did you watch that one?
Poop Cruise. I did. Why am I on like a cruise kick? I did. I just watched Poop Cruise recently, and that was also crazy and disgusting. That's what I'm saying. I don't fuck with a cruise. I think we've evolved enough that I don't really want to travel anywhere by boat. That's why I don't even go to like Staten Island. I'm not doing that. Get out of here.
Fair enough.
Anyway, this is Chewed Gum. We talk about purity culture things, deconstruction things, relationships, sex education, all kinds of fun stuff. And we do have some people who have started to call in already, which is exciting. If you want to call, you can call the number that is on the screen, and also in the description there is the number and the web link. And I'll read the number out loud as well. It's 720-619-2288. I've been doing the show for a year. Don't know the number by heart. So, anyway.
I feel all over the place, so I'm just...
Do you?
I'm trying to get up the call thing. It's fine. Sorry, I'm
Okay.
interrupting you for no reason. Keep going.
No, you're working through it. You're working through it. As a reminder, super chats of $5 or more, we will read at the end of the show. And I just want to say other shows get a lot more super chats than we do. And I really appreciate everyone who sends super chats. But also, what the heck? What the heck?
What the heck?
I know.
Wow,
So
that hurts my feelings.
I know. It's because we're girls. I get it. And
exactly.
But also, many of the people who watch this show don't subscribe to our channel. So subscribe to this channel. It's like not going to end up in your inbox. You're not going to get like crazy notifications unless you want them. But subscribe to the show. It really helps us in the algorithm. It helps us also know like what demographics are watching us. There's lots of really great benefits for us. And it also like is free and is very easy for you. So just hit the little subscribe button, hit the like button while you're down there, and send us some super chats if you're feeling inclined. We would love to read them at the end. And I think that's kind of it. Do you have anything else, Taylor? How's your weekend? What'd you do?
Well, I'm excited for fall. I'm like so excited for fall. I cracked open the first Alani Witch's Brew of the season, so that's very symbolic. It's so good.
They're so good. They took me off of they used to send them to me. Do they send them to you?
No, I'm not cool enough for that.
Post it.
I want that. How'd you get that?
Taylor, you have more followers than I do combined. So go just post somewhere and tag them.
Okay, I'm gonna do that because I do a bunch of free advertisements for them because I'm like always drinking them on here. I'm just always drinking them. So yeah, I'm gonna try that because how did you start getting them sent to you? Just cause? Or did you make a video?
No, I literally just posted somewhere in my stories something about Alani and like tagged them. Dang. And then they messaged me. And they were like, we'd love to send you some. And then they put me on like a list and I had so many that I literally was like, I was giving them away because I was like, I don't know what to do with this. And then I stopped posting them because I was like, I need to get through what you sent me.
You have like a whole inventory.
Literally. And now I'm upset because I have none. So, you know, it's, but you know, I need to go buy the Witch's Brew anyway. It's so good.
I'm just so excited for fall and I'm going to the Ren Fair next weekend. So I'm excited for that or this coming weekend.
What are you going to wear?
You know, I was crocheting some accessories.
Oh, hell
you already
know
I was crocheting those accessories. So I crocheted a toadstool purse with a little goblin on it, like attached. And then I'm gonna make a Luna Moth. What's it called? Bandana thing?
Headband?
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Like
or bandana.
You know what I'm saying.
Maybe it's a bandana.
Not bandana.
No?
It's like I can't describe
like a headscarf?
It's a triangle.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bandana. Yeah, that's a bandana.
Yeah. That.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super excited to go drink some mead.
Yeah, that's so nice. The Ren Fair seems like it would be a lot of fun. I've never gone to any of them and I would like to because it seems very much up my alley. I like costumey things. I like fall.
It's a great excuse
I need to go.
Wear a costume.
Yeah, on a day that's not
and
Halloween.
I'm always down for that. Yeah, exactly.
I want to do that. Do you have, okay, I'm having this experience and I feel like you'll understand this. And if there are other people who get periods, sorry, we were talking about this earlier and now it seems like it's random, but I was talking about this with our producer earlier, that there is a thing that happens and it's documented, like this is real. There's a thing that happens that when you are at a certain point in your cycle, you like look at yourself and you're like, that's not what I look like. I'm having that today where I'm like, where I'm looking at myself and I'm like, who's that? Who's that?
I like in a, would you say in a negative way or positive way or both, depending on?
Yes. I'm like, okay, that's Stregonona. What is that? You know? And it's like, but I know I'm going to watch this like a week from now and I'm going to be like, I looked great that day. You know, it's like, it's just like a perception thing that's so weird.
Yeah. I think I've like got I've gotten that many times and I just like didn't know what to even call it, but my friends say that to me all the time. They're like, I feel like I
Yeah.
don't look right, like something's wrong. I don't look right. I'm like,
Something's
I mean, I
off.
believe you that you feel that, but you don't look it. So that's the good news about it is you don't look any different. But yeah, it's
It's like,
hard.
yeah, like I'll watch this in a couple of days when this passes, and I'll be like, I look the same as I literally always do. But it's like so
Exactly.
weird to look at myself.
It's a
Maybe I won't
brain
look. Maybe I
fuck.
won't have that screen up. Yeah, it totally is. Anyway, okay, so we have some callers, and we have a couple of theists who are on the line and waiting for us to pick up. Did you end up getting into call in studio? Do you see the calls we have?
No,
No?
I keep
It's
trying, and
it's okay.
I'm on the struggle bus today. I'm so sorry.
No, it's totally fine. The only reason I was asking is if you had a preference of the people, but I'm going to pull in the first person who called in. His name is Adam. He's calling from the UK. Adam, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yes.
Hi, Adam. How's it going?
It's going well, thank you.
Wonderful. What did you want to talk about today?
I was hoping to present the view of the Catholic Church on purity, virtue, and love.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, well, purity and love, for one, are extremely close to each other, and they can each be seen in all 7 of the capital virtues of the Church. You've probably
Sorry,
heard
Adam,
of...
before we move forward, how do you feel that virtue and love are, is that what you said, virtue and love are the same? Or they're deeply
They're not the
connected?
same.
Purity and love?
Purity and love. It was purity and love.
Yeah, so virtues, according to the Church, are certain graces or forms of will that they're all just manifestations of love. They're just different way in which love can be willed.
Can you give me an example?
Yeah, so charity is a virtue, and it's a form of love because in the Catholic Church, love is defined as the will to will the good of another. Right, so that's Catechism 1766, and charity obviously fits that definition because you're offering something to someone that they need, and that contributes towards their good. And so charity is a will. Charity is a form of loving will in that sense.
Okay. Taylor, do you have any thoughts so far, or shall we continue?
We can continue because I'm not really sure what to say at this point.
Okay, Adam,
Okay.
continue.
Yeah, so the 7 capital virtues, according to the Catholic Church, those are the counterparts to, as you might have heard, the 7 deadly sins that were written down by Pope Gregory the First, around the year 600. And yeah, so love can be better understood when it's broken into its components, which the Church is really what defines the Church's position on love. So love consists of sacrifice and forgiveness, and it's clear that that's the Church's position because they're visible in the symbol of Christianity, which is Jesus on the cross. But it's not just symbolic. There's also a rationale for this because love ceases to make sense when either sacrifice or forgiveness are subtracted. So a relationship lacking these is purely an economic exchange. It's not love. Do you agree that love consists of those, sacrifice and forgiveness?
I think so. I think those are a part of like healthily loving a person for sure. Because when I was thinking about it, I was like, but if you were at a coffee shop and you bought someone that you love their favorite cookie, like that's a that's a display of you loving and caring about a person, but it's not really, but it is sort of inconveniencing you because you made the request, you paid for the thing, you're going to bring it home, whatever. Anyways. So yeah, I think I can be so far on board with that. And okay, so I want to get to, for the sake of time, I want to move forward into the portion where you were wanting to make the point that virtue relies on purity. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So those components allow us to see a bit better why the virtues are connected to purity. So, for
what
example,
does purity mean to you? That's how you connect it back.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you look it up in the dictionary, it just means freedom from contamination. But of course, we talk about degrees of purity all the time. It's not just a binary. So when we consider forms of loving will, so virtues, humility, for example, is the chief of the virtues, and this is a form of purity. So that's Catechism 25:21, and this says that modesty or humility protects the innermost person, guarding what should remain hidden. So to guard, right? So guard, you've got the purity aspect there. But I mean, we can see it even more clearly when we see humility as the refusal to let other people's darkness and evil overpower us. Right? So the person is humble and they refuse to see themselves as superior to others when they don't see other people as evil or immoral in some way, when they turn their eyes away from the darkness of other people. And so this is a form of purity because a humble will, has refused to allow the darkness of other people to overpower it.
So, okay, so then I have a question actually about that specifically, because if you're saying you're going to look away from people that you are viewing as evil, then where does the overlap of charity come in? Because then it sort of feels like, okay, now you have to make a moral judgment on an individual before you offer them charity or support. And then that doesn't feel like purity to me, that feels like judgment.
Okay, so I mean, charity, the more humble we are.
Sorry, one quick thing about the judgment thing too, and the reason why I bring up judgment is it's very interesting because I find the entirety of the Bible reading community to be extremely judgmental, and it's like a pretty well documented thing that you're not supposed to be judgmental, and the main person who will judge is God at the end. So that's why judgment, I think, it's important that there is a pretty measurable moral judgment that you're making when you're calling human beings evil.
Can I also ask a question about like, how do you feel in the Bible about the marriages that were just about like economic exchange, if that's what you called it? Because there are plenty of examples of that in the Bible itself. And some of those marriages were, like obviously approved by God. So, like, how do you feel about those?
Okay, so the first question was about the intersection between charity and humility. So obviously, the more humble a person is, it's just going to be easier to be more charitable, because the less you allow another person's evil or another person's darkness that they may have shown to you to overpower you, then any darkness that you allow to overcome you is going to act as a limitation on how charitable you can be towards them. It's just the more of their darkness that you're focused on, the harder it's going to be to have a charitable will towards them. Is that all right?
So I don't know. It feels still like you're making a moral judgment on how charitable you're willing to be. If the goal is to help other people, then you should be looking for the darkest souls available to help. And that seems to be kind of what Jesus's message allegedly is. Like, he notoriously hung out with people who were outcasts in their community and probably would have been viewed as being evil or not evil, maybe like the people who were looked down upon in their community. That was the community that Jesus held closest to him. So it's curious that your perspective is that we have to measure the amount of darkness that we are willing to be charitable towards. It still is like a moral judgment that you're making about a person, and it feels like it still crosses the boundary of like you're being judgmental and you're creating the judgment when your God says that's his job.
Okay, so I think the misunderstanding is that, of course, the point of the virtues is that they allow you to put yourself in the midst of people who are going to harm you. People who are going to be hostile towards you, or damage your pride, that sort of thing, and to remain charitable towards them. I mean, that's why the symbol of Christianity is the cross, right? So we're meant to carry a cross. Other people are going to crucify us. The reason why they're a virtue is, so it's, for example, the reason why it's a virtue, why humility is a virtue, is because it allows you to help more people. Right? The more virtuous you are, the more people you can help, including like as you were describing, kind of like the worst people. So your humility is a limitation on how many different people you can help. So if you're not very humble and you're not very charitable, the scope of people that you can help is going to be smaller, because you're not going to be able to tolerate other people's faults very well. Does that answer your question?
It was said in chat, none of this has anything to do with purity. Like, not any of it has to do with purity. I'm so confused. You're like going through all these things that are good in general. I have no idea how purity impacts these things.
All right. So, I mean, a person who's highly charitable, they can do so because they're not allowing the darkness of other people to overcome them. So, I mean, if you imagine,
what does that mean? What does that mean? I don't even know what that means.
Okay, well, I mean, each person has an enemy or somebody who has harmed them, somebody that you might hold something against, maybe like a high school bully, or maybe something. If you imagine like a situation where somebody swears at you and insults you, and right, maybe they ride past you on a bike, and then a few moments later, you find them they've come off the bike and severely injured themselves, and you're the only person who aren't around, and they're bleeding badly.
Well,
if you call the ambulance and you pay the bill for them, that's obviously charity. You've not allowed the harm that they did to you to overcome your charity, and that's a form of purity, because you've able to gate out the darkness that they showed to you just moments before, and then you're able to forgive and extend charity towards them.
So
I don't think that's how most people see purity.
Yeah, I think,
if I'm being honest.
So your whole topic is about how virtue and purity are tied together, but I think that the way that they are being tied together is, so I guess, okay, so I'm gonna explain what I'm understanding, Adam, and you let me know if this is right. So what I'm hearing is that to be a virtuous person, that means that the acts day to day have to reflect being pure, not necessarily in like a sexual bodily autonomy way, but pure in like intention, perhaps, or pure in treatment of others. Does that feel close?
Yeah, so the second thing you said sounded closer, but of course it does influence the way that we behave. The way it influences the way that we use our bodies, of course.
Okay, so that's what I'm interested in talking about. Of course, I agree that, charity is great, helping others is great. And while I don't think it's necessary to label those things as being pure, I think that it's just, we are one in the same, and it's important to help other people. Community mutual aid is important. What I would like to know is this other part about purity culture informing what we do with our own bodies. So give us some detail around that.
Okay, but I mean the view of the Catholic Church is very relevant to purity culture. I mean, I don't know the exact history, but our notions of purity come from European history, and that was strongly influenced by the Catholic Church. I mean, the Catholic Church once had a monopoly on these kinds of questions.
Right.
Purity is in the Church. Purity is considered to be very, very close to what love means. When we,
I think that they used that reasoning to manipulate people into, well, you're gonna do the things that we want you to do because that's love. That's how it feels to me.
Yeah, and also, what if it it just doesn't make a lot of sense, like really at all, because you can love somebody who is so-called contaminated. Calling people like contaminated is just like degrading and like dehumanizes people. I feel like that doesn't include humility. You're not having humility when you're calling people contaminated, no?
well, primarily the judgment has to be directed at ourselves. So only an individual person can has an audience with their own thoughts. It's all dependent on being able to honestly judge yourself. So when we're on the spiritual path, we have to be able to acknowledge our susceptibility to being contaminated by other people's darkness. So other people's.
Why?
What does a contaminated person look like?
Yeah, that's my question. Like the example you gave of something like somebody hits you with a bike and you help them or something, I don't know. What does being contaminated in that example even mean? Just the wrong reaction?
So, I mean, being contaminated there is not really a binary thing, but we're talking about degrees of purity. So to lack purity in that sense would be to be very susceptible towards some kind of sinful reactions like wrath, unforgiveness, which is just wrath, pride, and lack of charity. So basically selfishness would be the outward appearance. Their will, their forms of will.
When I see somebody doing something nice for somebody, or somebody hurts them and they still treat them with kindness, I don't think to myself, wow, they're choosing purity. I think they are having empathy or choosing what they think is right to do. I just don't agree with this whole thing that is purity. I don't really think people use it that way.
Okay, I mean that's the reason why I've called, because to communicate the understanding of purity that the Church has and how it relates to our morality, how it kind of supports our morality and our understanding of what's right and what's wrong.
I think if ideally the idea that you're trying to communicate is that if people were more charitable, if people were helping one another, if people were being less judgmental of each other, then that would be a level of purity culture that I would be willing to accept. Where I end up having this issue, and really the when we talk about purity culture here, which someone in the chat has also described that in the UK, purity culture means something a little bit different than it does here in the US. In the US, when we talk about purity culture, it's related to modesty, it's related to sexual restraint, it's related to shaming people for sexual actions, too many partners, that kind of stuff. So if you're explanation of purity and purity culture is just we should all be in more aid of one another and, responsible for one another more, then I'm happy with that. That doesn't bother me.
Okay. Well, it does. I mean, it does include the things that you mentioned. So one of the capital virtues is chastity. And
now we're getting somewhere, Adam. Tell me more.
Okay, well, chastity with the virtues, we see that they all contain a degree, they're all manifestations of love or purity, and because of that, they kind of reflect each other as well. So chastity is a form of humility, and like I said before, the Catechism of the Church describes humility. Humility protects the innermost person, guarding what should remain hidden, and so we see the reflection of that in chastity. When a person is chaste, they refuse to view other people in a dirty or impure way. Is the person's guarding their innermost self from exterior images of other people's what should remain private. And this is obviously it relates back to pride, because a person who's very prideful is going to want to expose other people and break into their private areas, and that's the reason why.
So if you want to sleep with someone, so if you're attracted to someone, you want to sleep with them, that's being prideful.
Well, I think I think that should only occur during marriage. They should only occur when there's mutual trust and consent.
Okay, and the reason is because it ties to humility?
Well, the reason is that it's because it's not a form of ignorance. So we're ignorant that consuming the other person is going to somehow improve ourselves or grant us more goodness when it's not, and exposing the other person.
Can't it just be fun and something that you want to do? Or if you're in a relationship with someone and you feel, connected to them or whatever, why would it matter that you are having a sexual relationship with them? And also, why is God watching? Why would that matter actually at all? You're not hurting anybody. If it's consensual, what I don't understand the harm in that.
Okay, yeah. So obviously this will relate back to the love and the forgiveness and sacrifice aspect. So that kind of activity should be based on love, and
why?
This means that
wait, yeah, who says that? According to just the church, why? Or you think that?
So you're asking me why do I think it should be based on love?
Yes.
Well, I don't think it's. I think that just pleasure for the sake of it doesn't do anything for us. I think it makes us worse people.
Of course it does a lot for us. Adam, I'll tell you what it does for us. It boosts our dopamine and our serotonin and our oxytocin, so it makes us feel good. It makes us feel more deeply connected to our partners. We learn about ourselves and our partners in all of our sexual interactions. And so later in life, if we've had many partners, later in life when we meet a person that maybe we want to spend a more extended period of time with, every new partner that you have, you're going to learn something new, and you're going to be even more prepared by the time your like longest term partner or whatever. Every next partner, you're going to have learned more about yourself. You're going to have learned more about intimacy. So it does a lot of really good things for you. There's actually even evidence to show that masturbation and actually orgasms in general are good for your sleep. They're good for your immune system as well. They boost orgasms boost your immune system. As I'm saying these, I'm thinking about all of the other things. So there's lots of reasons for why it's good for you.
Okay, well, the reasoning why it's bad for you would be based on our understanding of spirituality. Is that pride damages our spirituality. And what these things
But
do is that they increase.
how is this an indication of pride?
Because you're just increasing your appetite for consuming other people, and you're kind of thinking that you're superior by thinking, by consuming more people, you become superior. But I mean,
what
in
if they
response to your
just
question, I want
superior
to just,
what?
Yourself before consuming that many people, or it depends on the person. I mean, you might be comparing yourself to other people who have consumed less.
What if you're just sleeping with your partner? Like someone you've been in a long-term relationship with, then what?
Well, then that's going to be more based on actual love. If it's just one person, it's going to be based on more.
So then they aren't contaminated? They don't have to be married?
Well, in my view, it's best if they are married, because I just have a view of that marriage should be based on a religious commitment. But there's a long-term relationship.
Like I said,
other people.
Like I said earlier, in the Bible, there's plenty of religious marriages or biblical marriages that were based on, like a exchange of money for a person. So, do you feel like God was wrong for that? Do you think he got it wrong? What happened there?
Well, that wouldn't preclude them for having love for each other and developing sacrifice and forgiveness for each other. Like doesn't rule that out.
Yeah, but that it's not likely that all of them fell in love with the person they were sold to. That's not that's not a rational thought.
I think, well, the institution of marriage did work differently in the past.
But why is it different now?
But when all of these ideas that you are talking about were created under the framework of marriage that Taylor is describing. Marriage was not about love. Marriage was not about love in that period of time.
Okay, but people would still choose them. There's still a selection process in the marital. They would still be selected based on compatibility between people.
I think they would be no. It was a business transaction. It's not based on compatibility. Some of these women didn't even know their partner before they
didn't play matchmaker.
Okay, well, I mean, I think it ought to be based on both like personal compatibility and also compatibility between the two families.
Well, that's fine if you believe that, but the Bible doesn't describe that. God blesses other kinds of marriages too, so it doesn't really make sense to call that your version, the biblical version, or your version, the religious version, because there's obviously other versions out there, right?
Yeah, that's okay. I've not investigated it in detail.
Okay.
So I also, one of the things I'm sort of struggling with in all of this is there are plenty of people who are really active members of society that I would consider to be virtuous, that even more so than people that you would consider to be like, people who are like kind of traditionally religious, that would be kind of like pure in the eyes of of the context you're presenting. But I would not consider them to be virtuous. Someone brought up Jordan Peterson earlier. Like, that's kind of an example that I'm thinking of. I guess on paper he might be considered pure. I don't know that much about his personal life, but I don't consider him to be virtuous. I think that he's a snake oil salesman. I think that he is manipulative. He sidesteps every single challenge that comes his way. And I think he's a phony. He lies. And then he built an entire little mini empire around it. So that's not a virtuous person to me. But I guess technically he's pure, I guess. But what difference does it make to have this purity value I don't think it makes people, it doesn't make people better to be pure.
Well, I mean, think about it. So if you're pure in the sense that you just don't allow your innermost self to be conquered by other people's hostility or darkness in whichever way you judge it, then what you're going to have more of an ability to show other people forgiveness, self-control, charity. You're going to be more humble because you're not having your self-control taken away by some kind of really prickly or spiky feeling in you from just someone else showing you evil that you don't deserve. I'm describing that as purity.
None of that makes any sense. I genuinely don't think any of that makes any sense. I'm so sorry. I just don't. Like, the way you're talking about people, consuming people, conquering people, like, this is a very dramatic thing you're saying. There are plenty of people out in the world who just go out on a Friday night and they hook up with someone, they have fun, then they leave. They aren't conquering people. They aren't trying to create an empire. Like, they're not consuming people. Like, the way you look at this is just very bizarre to me. So I don't think people, you're kind of painting people out to be malicious. Like, if they do something they enjoy and doesn't necessarily benefit, I guess, God, I don't know, but I just don't think that's the reality we live in. I think you're painting this picture like a lot of religious people do, where it's like everything's out to get you, everything's evil, you got to stay away from evil, and I just don't think that's reality. I think that's silly.
Okay. Well, when people choose things that just like pamper the senses and which create bonds that aren't meant to last, really what they're doing is something that doesn't benefit their spirituality. So it doesn't. It's going to cause them to think better of themselves and create like a flawed view of themselves. And I think that's much of the
why would
damage.
that create a? That's also verifiably not true. When people are comfortable in their sexuality, when they aren't being shamed for the choices that they want to make, which is what the goal is of everything that you're describing, is to shame people into not doing the things that they want to do with their own bodies because it's no one else's business. When people don't feel shame, when they feel connected in whatever way, even if it's just physically, to another person, they are confident people. They're people who are able to have bodily autonomy, which goes a really long way. So I don't agree. I think that's just verifiably not the case.
Well, I'd interpret the confidence as pride. Right? So having an inflated view of yourself based on how many people.
Should you be proud of like your belief in God? Should you be proud of your religion and proud of all of that? Proud of being a part of that? Because I know a lot of Christians take pride in that. You shouldn't. You shouldn't you shouldn't like advertise that you're a Christian, or you shouldn't try and spread the news about Christianity or anything like that.
I don't think that speaking out is the same as pride.
So well, you think that you think your belief system is better than everybody else's. So you think they should convert. That's pretty prideful.
And also, so it's not prideful to talk about your religion and share that with other people because you feel that it's the best one, but it is prideful to, within the private space in my own home or my partner's home, to have sex with them before I have completed a piece of paperwork, or before I have decided that I'm in love with them. How is that any less prideful? And also, I would actually argue that when you do stuff like volunteering your time or your money for charity, that also inflates your pride, as it should. You should feel proud of that. So I don't think that the pride argument works here either. because you can do things that you are considering pure and virtuous, and that would also still give you a sense of pride.
Okay, well, to have pride is to attribute something to yourself that doesn't belong to yourself, to attribute something good to yourself that's not actually coming from you. So,
yeah, I feel like you would get that more from doing like a charitable thing than you would by sleeping with someone else privately.
Okay, well, like for someone to share their religion or to argue that their religion is more moral, that's not attributing something to oneself. You're just attributing something to a belief system. So it can't be prideful because it's not.
It is.
It just doesn't
It is
fit the
prideful
definition.
though if you're trying to convert people. If you're saying I'm the one who knows the truth, I'm the one who has the answers. They don't, like, I'm right, they're wrong. That's pretty. I think that's prideful when you're trying to convert a bunch of people because you think you're the only one who has the right answer.
I think there's just a distinction between doing that and saying there's something good about you that doesn't actually come from you. It's like, it's not the same as having pride in one's nation or one's race or one's sex. It's because those things aren't your responsibility. You didn't do anything to earn those things. So for me, I don't think that just speaking what I see to be the truth about what I believe to be the truth I don't think that indicates pride. Of course, I can do it in a prideful way. I can do it in a way that is very boastful, but I don't think it is prideful in and of itself. You asked the third question. That was it about charity? That you should be proud of acting charitably.
I think that acting charitably would also inflate your pride, as it should. You should be proud of doing those things.
Okay.
Why is it bad to feel prideful? Like, what is the problem? Why does everyone need to feel bad about themselves?
Well, pride is quite clearly the source of evil. So pride causes lies because we want
I don't agree on that premise.
I don't agree with that either. That's crazy. This is also like, this is the thing that this religious culture does, where they have decided that they have to make you feel this small. You're not allowed to even have access to feeling good about yourself, because the minute that you do, then you have access to critical thought and you might leave. Like that's what it is. It's a control thing. Like, why is it evil to feel good about yourself?
Right, okay, so pride is where you regard yourself to be superior to others. So that's where lies are going to come from, because you're going to
No, that's not what pride always means. That's not like the singular definition of pride. If someone says they're proud of their family, does that mean they think their family is better than everybody else's?
To some degree. It means that they're attributing something to their family.
No, that's not what that means. And
the definition of pride, by the way, is a feeling of deep pleasure or satisfaction derived from one's own achievements. The achievements of those with whom one is closely associated, or from qualities or possessions that are widely admired. So your definition of pride is not correct. And the version of pride that you are using is the one that the church is telling you, because they want to keep you small. They want to keep you from asking questions. They want to make sure that you are under their thumb. That's what your definition of pride does.
Well, the definition of my pride agrees with the one that you've given, because the pleasure aspect is going to come from the will, right? So pride is a will that seeks to make a person greater than others.
No.
And yeah,
no, it's not. It's greater than others. Where are you getting that? Where are you getting that from? No part of this is greater than others. It's a deep feeling of deep pleasure or satisfaction derived from one's own achievements. There is no. It's not. It's not power over. It is power with. It's not pride over. It is pride with.
Yeah, but your achievements are going to distinguish you from other people. And when that happens, you're going to feel
great, and you're allowed to feel proud of those things, but that doesn't mean that you are you are an egomaniac all of a sudden just because you're proud of yourself. Do you see, Adam, how that thought process to make you feel like pride is you should not be proud. You should not have pride in yourself or your actions unless they are of God in some way, unless they are filled with virtue. It's a control tactic. They are literally controlling your behaviors. And I just don't no part of me thinks that pride is something that we shouldn't have access to.
Okay, well, I mean, to answer, I'll just say that the feeling of pleasure is just going to come. You would only feel pleasure in response to your achievements if you had a prideful will, right? So if your will was to distinguish yourself from others.
No, that's just not true. It's interesting that you like keep making pleasure seem bad, but it seems to me the only way you can make it seem bad or negative is by making up these really weird narratives, like what you were saying earlier, like people conquering each other and people consuming you. And again, that's not real life. Like, and I think that the church and religion creates those kind of unrealistic narratives because you have to explain why you shouldn't have pleasure in life, because it's a ridiculous thing to say that like that all these pleasures are wrong when they're not hurting anybody. So you have to make up this whole thing about people out to get you. It's bizarre, and it's just not what reality is.
Adam, I think we're sorry, go ahead. I want you to respond to Taylor, and then I think we're going to move on because we do have a bunch of other callers, and we've been on this call for 40 minutes. So I want to make sure that we have time to take some other calls. So do you want to have one last contribution, and then we'll let you go, and you can call back another time.
Okay. I'm not really sure what to say.
If you don't have any last things, that's okay too. But I just want to make sure that we're mindful of time because I think we're not really moving very far in this conversation now, and we've been on the call for 40 minutes. Our show only was like 90, so I want to make sure that we get to some other calls too.
Okay.
Okay, call back another time, and we'll continue this conversation. Thank you, Adam.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
I feel like I need a shot of espresso.
I feel like I need a shot of alcohol.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that was a bunch of nothing. Someone brought up Jordan Peterson earlier, and that's just how it felt.
Yeah.
Because these definitions, and I've actually experienced this a lot with Christians, they'll quite literally, and I'm not saying definitions are like these concrete things that can never change, because obviously context and stuff can change stuff, but I've watched Christians sometimes completely change the definition of a word to say what they're saying makes sense. And it's kind of maddening because you can't be like, that isn't how people use that word, because they'll just be like, well, that's my version of the word, and all you can really say is, okay.
Okay. Right. But then at that point, it's like, if we're making up our own reality and we're making up the definitions of words, then what are we even talking about? And also,
exactly.
I don't actually, at some point, it's like, I don't actually care what your definition is. If your definition of pride is that you feel superior to everyone else, then I don't agree with that necessarily, but that's not what the word pride means. So, you know, it's just a little silly. Oh, we lost our other theist call. They just hung up. Sad.
No, call back.
I know. We had one more theist and I wanted to get to them, but I think Adam might have deterred them. That's why I wanted to move on. I was like, we're not really getting anywhere, and I would like to have a new conversation. Anyway, we do have other calls, and so I would like to take another. Okay, let's take Pip calling, also from the UK. We're having a very UK show today.
Day.
Hi, Pip. Yeah, UK
Good
day.
Tuesday.
Nice to talk to you both again. It's been a while.
Hi, Pip. It
Hi.
has. How's it going?
It's going pretty well. Been like very focused on Hollow Knight Silksong and the absolute torture that game is, because I knew it was
Yeah.
going to be hard from the start, but exactly how hard? Oh, I was not prepared. But I don't think anyone was. Anyway,
Pip, you have
sorry.
you have a very animated voice. Like I feel like I have like a picture of what you look like in my head, but it's like a cartoon because you're so animated. I love it. And also literally a breath of fresh air after the call we just had. That was like he was very like quiet and monotone. I don't know if you caught it. So this is great.
Yeah, from what I heard of that was an absolute, drag because of how they were bending over backwards to, justify some pretty nasty ideas, all things considered. But I suppose it's kind of the apologist playbook that they have to give a spoonful of sugar to make the medicine go down, if you will.
Yes.
That's probably the most British thing I've ever said on this show, and that's saying something.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so you wanted to talk about rejection-related things. Do you want to give us more detail?
Yes. Through a lot of my teenage years, particularly in high school, I've dealt with a lot of very severe bullying. And a lot of that came in the form of like reactions of disgust and the fact that I was an undiagnosed autistic child with a relatively low amount of emotional maturity. And while I won't get into all of it, I will say that one of the things I distinctly remember being told in one class is that if one girl like had a baby and it came out looking like me, she'd drown it. That's the kind of thing I was subjected to. Yeah.
Oh my god,
that's
so
like
sorry.
cartoonishly
That's horrible. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, exactly. And while I know it, I know logically it's all bullshit, it's given me a very strong sense of rejection sensitive dysphoria. And I've been like single for like the past 6 years now. And I've really tried with online dating with OkCupid, and I've tried my best to be patient. But the amount of people who just give any sort of reply back is, absolutely minimal. And from what I've learned and what some of my friends have told me, the website is designed to match you with people who are least likely to give a response so that it can occupy more time and potentially money.
Right.
It's hard to overcome the sting of feeling rejected and ignored through that. And yet there aren't nearly as many scenarios where I feel like comfortable talking to people and maybe even suggesting that I might want to, get to know someone for the purposes of dating. I'm fully aware at age 36 that a good relationship is built on a rock solid friendship, and that's always what I aim to start with. But when I can't even get to that point, especially when these websites are constantly giving me absolute duds, and I feel so anxious about creeping people out in real life because of my particular history, it becomes very difficult to have any sort of dating life at all, considering I just kind of feel like, what's the point if no one's going to respond to me anyway? So I don't know why I bother.
Well, okay, so there's a couple of things to address in this, because I will say that this conversation is one that I have very regularly with coaching clients. We have this conversation occasionally on this show too. This is like a challenge that a lot of people are feeling. So you're definitely not alone in it. I think there are two pieces of it. There's the piece of it that is related to rejection, and there's the piece of it that is related to, okay, how are we going to start meeting people that are more aligned for you and what you're looking for? So for the piece of how do I meet people and where am I going to meet them, what I've been sharing with people, and I still think that this is going to be the best method right now, because I get a lot of the feedback about the dating apps that are just, they're deeply flawed and not easy to actually make connections with. Like, they're not really even made for that anymore, and it's just a mess. So I think really it's about the in-person meetup that's going to be really helpful. And sometimes the best places to do that are places where there are places where you'll have a shared hobby, or you'll have something that's bringing you together in a social way that's not actually related to dating. So if you have any particular interests that would bring you to any social circle, take advantage of those spaces, even if these are starting out as friendships. Friends are also able to, match make with other friends. You'll be in a different friend group that way too. So that's always going to be helpful. And I also just feel like generally the more full that your life is, the easier it will be for partners to find you. Like, it'll never make sense to be looking for a partner from your room in your house. Like, unfortunately, we have to get out there a little bit. The other part of it is the rejection piece. And the rejection piece is harder because there's a mental health aspect to it. It's like the rejection part is what, it's the get knocked down 8 times knocked down 7, get up 8, that whole situation. It's like when you're dating, a lot of it is a numbers game. Even if you're having successful dates, successful meaning you are meeting people on apps or in person, they're going on the date with you, you're having a nice time, but they're just not a good fit. That still is it's still a numbers game until you find the person who fits you best. So it's, you have to continue to put yourself out there, and unfortunately, the best way to move past rejection is exposure therapy, which is what people don't really want to hear, but it's the truth. Like, it's similar, like you're not gonna move forward from rejection without exposing yourself to it. So, so even if you do that in small ways, I read a book called Rejection Proof, and it's really interesting. And the guy who wrote it basically exposed himself to some level of rejection, and it was like incremental every day for 100 days. And it started as small as going to a coffee shop and asking if he can get an extra shot of espresso for free. And if the person said no, he would say, okay, no problem. Can you tell me why? And he would get the reason for it. And every time he got the reason for it, it never had to do with him. It always had to do with, so like in that circumstance, they would say something like, well, because it's our policy and I'm not a manager, I'm not authorized to do that. Okay, great. It actually has nothing to do with you. And then it sort of heals a little bit of what the rejection was. You asked a question, they said no, but it had nothing to do with you. And this guy went through this process for 100 days and found that the vast majority of times that you get rejected, it has nothing to do with you. And that's the same thing with dating. You don't want to date someone who doesn't want to date you back. And there's a reason why that whatever that relationship is not going to work. So I would recommend the book Rejection Proof if you want to read what his experience was like, because it was really it was impactful for me because we have a lot of conversations about it. But yeah, so I would say expose yourself to some of the rejection, and that also means finding some hobbies, finding some stuff to do that gets you out of the house and in new social circles.
Yeah, the main, when it comes, I am a bit of an explorer, but my main hobbies are, going to like comic or anime conventions when I can. Those are always a bit of a money sink, so they have to kind of limit myself with that. And also, what are essentially tourist steam railways, be it for a regular working day or an event or something like that. And as much as I don't like to say it, the reality is that there's not exactly going to be a lot of, single femme people. I was lucky to meet one trans woman in her 40s or 50s, something like that, at the telephone railway earlier this year. Although I didn't manage to get her contact. And the thing about conventions is that I'm usually talking to cosplayers, saying I recognize a cosplayer, as a character, or whatever, and I'm usually asking to take photos and whatnot. But I always have this distinct niggling anxiety that I'm going to be remembered as one of those cosplay creeps. Now, mind you, I'm not actually saying anything sexual or illicit, and in my mind, my request to maybe make a new friend or something is incredibly mundane. But just after having heard all of these horror stories about the one guy stalking the female cosplayer because they had a skimpy outfit or whatever, it's hard for me to dislodge the idea that I might be perceived as that, even if I'm, not filling.
Well,
if I'm not filling the template.
But you don't have control. But you don't have control over the way that people perceive you. You know you're not a stalker. People are fully welcome to say no. Like if you ask someone to hang out or to grab a coffee or, play a game with you, I don't know, whatever it is that you want to do, however you want to ask them to spend extracurricular time with you, they are totally allowed to say, thank you so much, this is not for me, or I'm not dating, or whatever it is. And your awareness around it means you probably are a little more, you have like a heightened sensitivity around not wanting to make people uncomfortable, but allow people to draw that boundary for you. Like if you live your whole life worried that you're going to creep someone else out, you're never going to speak to anyone, and then you're not doing yourself any good either. Let other people regulate their own emotions and you just work on your own, like your own stuff. They're fully grown adults. They could figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. Funnily enough, I had a similar experience to that early at Manchester Comic-Con earlier this year, in that I was cosplaying the character of Mae Borowski from the video game Night in the Woods, and I had my bass guitar with me because she's a bass player. She's the character who inspired me to pick up the instrument. And conveniently, I ran into another bass player there who also had their instrument with me. And while I did ask to get their contact details, and the same with a person with a guitar with them, they just kind of politely declined and said, I just don't have the space in my life for any more friends. And I'm fully happy to accept that. I think what my problem is that I've had so many years of bad faith teenagers drilling into my head that they take one look at me and instantly think I'm a creep, that's become almost the default response. And as you say, as much as I want to logic my way out of it and recognize that not everyone's going to be psychically imprinted to avoid me, and everyone is an adult and welcome to say no. It's it's untangling that particular trauma response that I'm having a bit of trouble with.
Yeah, I think for you, it's gonna come down to the exposure therapy. And if you want more support in doing that, finding somebody who is a therapist or getting a mental health provider who can support you through what that process will look like will be really helpful. Like, this is something that finding support through rejection, I think it's become like a big part of what my client work is, because people are really struggling with that. So you're certainly not alone. And I think finding someone who will hold you accountable to continuing to put yourself out there, and then also supporting you through what those experiences are like, is going to be really helpful. Like, if you have someone who is setting a goal of, this week, I would really like if you would try to ask out 3 people. And your commitment to that is, if you agree to that, it doesn't matter if you were originally planning to only go to work and come home, you committed to 3 people. So that's what we're going to do in the next. And actually, you can take this assignment if you want to. This is literally something I assigned to a coaching client this morning. Come hell or high water, 3 people. You're going to ask out 3 people by the next Chewed Gum show, and see how it goes. And keep in mind that the first goal in all of these is to not worry so much about the outcome. It's to try and have a connection. Like, when you have conversations with people and you walk away from them and you have not learned a single thing about them, then we didn't hit the balance of connection. We were looking too much for an outcome. So when you're having the conversation, focus on, how can I connect with this person? I want to learn about them because I think they're cute, or I think that they're interesting, whatever. I want to learn like 2-3 things about them. And then I'm going to ask them, hey, would you want to go get coffee or ice cream or whatever after this? I'd love to hang out with you. And if they say no, great. If they say yes, great. And the outcome doesn't matter very much. It's that you created a connection with someone. And even if they say no, well, actually, I was going to say we've had many lovely conversations with you. So I know you will have left them with a very lovely conversation. They will have met somebody new. In that conversation, they will have felt seen and heard. They'll move on through the rest of their day. And even if they didn't take your number and agree to see you again, you left a really positive impact on that person. So that's not an L. That's not an L in my mind. So that would be what my recommendation is. And I want to be mindful. We have like a couple of theists that are on the on hold, so I want to make sure we get to them before we have to wrap the show. But I would love for you to give that a shot, even if it's not to ask out 3 people, but to try and make connections with 3 new people between now and next week. And you can even call back and tell us how it goes.
I also want to give a quick suggestion. I was going to suggest volunteer work, because when I was volunteering at a soup kitchen, there were so many people in and out of there, like volunteering or whatever. Not only that, but you gain like a lot of community there, and you'll meet a lot of people who I almost guarantee, if you start talking to people there, they typically have like someone in their life who would maybe be like they would want to set up with you, stuff like that. Because also, I've seen people do this before, where, because like a lot of times retired people will volunteer, and they will talk about that stuff a lot. Okay, I'm the only one on here.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people in and out of there, and it's kind of nice.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're fine.
Absolutely. I know we're running short on time, as there are theist callers you want to get to, but I just want to perhaps give a very quick, another quick installment of, I have an anecdote for that, because I actually volunteer at a cat shelter every week, where I'm helping to socialize the cats and record their behavior to help the staff pair them up with the right person. And there is one staff member who I've been talking to about the queer fantasy novels I read a lot, especially when I'm with the cat. But she's also on the staff, and I'm like, would that be inappropriate? Would it be inappropriate to volunteer to a member of staff and ask, hey, do you want to talk more or something like that? I really don't know.
No, I think you can ask, and if they say, I don't think it's appropriate, then you say, no problem, I just wanted to spend a little more time with you, but I totally understand. And then you move on. And you won't be
Very
weird
well.
about it because
absolutely.
you're not weird, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to end on a potential high note, as I like to do, mind if I just share a very quick joke with you?
Yes, and then we'll wrap up.
Absolutely. Okay, so a student dunce walks into town, and it's a very mournful scene. There's a lot of people dressed in black. There are pallbearers walking slowly, and there's even, a coffin in the middle of the road. Yet he's rarely sees anything like this publicly, so he goes and talks like one of the people there and say, "Hey, who's the dead guy?" And the guy just looks back at him and says, "He's the one in the coffin."
That's great. I love it. Well done, Pip. Well done. Well, thank you so much, Pip, for calling. Let us know if you do end up asking anyone out, and keep us updated.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Bye for now.
Bye, Pip.
Bye. All right. Okay. We have 2 theists that are in our queue right now. And one of them we have spoken to, another one we have not. So let's pull in the one that is new. This is Stevie calling in from Texas. Hi, Stevie.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going. How are
Hi.
you?
Doing good, doing good. I heard you guys were talking earlier, and I think it was Taylor that kind of suggested, it may not be a good idea to share our faith, and I just disagreed with that. So I figured I'd call in, and I really enjoyed the last conversation I had with the lady, and she seemed super sweet. I think y'all gave her great advice, but maybe she needs God. Maybe that's something else that we could recommend to her.
No, certainly not. But Stevie, continue. Tell us more about why you believe that when we said we shouldn't be. Actually, Taylor, do you have a response? Because actually, it was sort of like how you had mentioned the.
I didn't really say that you shouldn't tell people about your religion. I was saying that to think that I think it can be prideful to think that you have all the answers and nobody else does. That like you have the only right answer to how to live life, what to believe in. You have the answers to how the earth was created, what happens in the afterlife. I think that can get pretty arrogant. And I don't there are Christians out there, obviously, who say, this is what I think it is, and it might not be. But I meet more Christians who are like, no, I for sure have all the right answers, and you do not. And so then, because of that, they look at people like they are lost or dysfunctional or something like that.
Okay, well, I agree with you for the most part. I mean, I definitely don't feel that we should be prideful or, come off in that way at all. At the same time, if it is the truth, then then it's the truth. You know what I mean? Now, that being said, I can't say with 100% certainty that it is the truth, but I do believe to a high degree of certainty that it is, and that would be my belief. Does that answer, or does that kind of answer the question?
Yeah, but I think kind of where the problem comes in is like then there's these teachings of you cannot be happy if you're not believing what I'm believing, or like there's a lot of Christians out there who tell me I will never have peace, I will never be happy, I'm gonna burn in hell, like just all of these things, and that to me comes off pretty arrogant. Do you not think so? I have the only right way of living.
Yeah, I agree, and I think even recommending that Pip, who had called before, that they thought like that maybe God would be would be helpful to them. Like, that feels arrogant to me, because I don't think that has anything to do with the question that they were asking.
What was that?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people that struggle with addiction, that struggle with all kinds of issues, and the only thing that gets them over the line is their faith in God. So I certainly don't think it would hurt for her to explore her faith and see if there's anything there.
I just want to note that Pip's pronouns are they, them. Just wanted to note that. But I think that there is absolutely an argument to be made for some forms of faith being, some forms, if not all forms, being hurtful. I mean, you heard, I don't know if you heard the very first call that oh, you did, because that was what you were talking about with Taylor. That very first call was a person who was sharing that purity is the highest virtue, and their version of purity means that you are only sleeping with your person that you've married, which can be harmful, that we should not feel pride in our sexuality or our bodies, which is very harmful and wouldn't help someone like Pip. That would make it so much harder. I think what Pip needs is, I'm sorry, I'm like using Pip in this whole thing. Poor thing did not ask to be used as an example, but when you're dealing with something like being rejected or whatever, like, religion doesn't need to be the thing that helps you. It can also be therapy and other behavioral treatments. You don't need God for that.
Well, I mean, I believe everybody needs God, but that's certainly, there's other remedies that she can try to go for. But I think what it boils down to is,
wait, again, Stevie, Pip's pronouns, Pip's pronouns are they, them, not she.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have a hard time remembering that. So maybe we just come up with a different subject for a different analogy.
No, you won't, Stevie. You're not going to have a hard time remembering that.
You're in a single conversation right now. A single conversation.
The only person that we're talking about use they, them pronouns. You're not going to have a hard time remembering that. You just don't want to use those pronouns.
Well, I mean, if I thought I was Superman, I wouldn't want you to, you would be harming me by calling me Superman. You know what I mean? Like, if I go and jump off a building because I think I'm Superman and I die, and you were the one that was kind of encouraging me, yeah, you're Superman. I think we have to, by loving people means telling them the truth. That's actually what I was going to say. Well, I mean,
that is literally the dumbest analogy I've ever heard in my entire life.
I don't even understand what you're talking about.
There are people, though, that identify as a superhero. Do you disagree with that?
What are you talking about? Who?
I said there are people in this world that identify as a superhero. So do you think that's wrong?
Who? I don't know what you're talking about. Who identifies as a superhero?
I've seen them on the news. I've seen there's people in this world who identify as Batman, as Superman. There's people that drive around in Batmobiles. I'm sure if you haven't seen it online, maybe you just haven't looked, but it's definitely out
Stevie,
there. People out there
I genuinely don't think you're so like, you can't think about the fact that
wrong?
One is that.
I just want to make that
Stevie,
clear.
Let me talk for a second.
I think that's not real, is what I think.
There's a difference between somebody not conforming to gender ideologies and somebody saying they have superpowers. We know that people cannot have superpowers. We also know that people don't have to conform to gender norms if they don't want to. So I'm just not sure. It just doesn't work. I don't know. I know you want it to because you want it to seem ridiculous, but it's ridiculous.
It's also not ridiculous.
I thought this was like I didn't know you guys deny science here. I thought this was like
You're denying science. You are denying science.
I mean, you guys are
people being on
that a woman can be a man. That is denying science.
You actually, Stevie, you are demonstrating to me that you don't know science, and that you don't care to know science. There are people who, first of all, a gender identity is something that is a social construct. So you are allowed to identify as she, her, he, him, they, them. You get, or whatever. There are other personal pronouns also, and it doesn't make a difference. The only reason that you're butthurt about it is because this is a person who is demonstrating something that's different to you and you feel scared. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't affect your day-to-day life whatsoever.
Stevie,
and again,
a
person who is identifying as a believer in God,
I just don't feel that
you are upset.
I'm not upset about it. I just don't feel that I should have to conform to somebody else's imagination.
Okay, so then I'm going to call you. I'm going to call you. I'm going to call you she, her. I'm going to call you she, her, and I'm going to refer to you only with women's pronouns. Okay. I think honestly, this has been
you're accusing me of doing. I think that's kind of hypocritical, but
you're tremendously. You are, yeah. But if you're going to do it, then why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I?
Stevie,
you are being tremendous.
Doesn't that make sense though? I mean, why should
it's
I have
always the God? It's always the godly people
belief.
that want to be the most judgmental people. You want to preach love and you want to preach acceptance. It is judgmental. It is judgmental. What the fuck difference does it make to you if Pip or anybody else identifies as they, them? You just don't like it. And so now you've decided you can't accept it. That is judgment, which is exactly what your God says you should be avoiding. And you insist on doing anyway for no reason. Unbelievable. I so badly want to be proven wrong.
Deniers. I mean, you guys are
it is not
science deniers.
Stevie.
The science.
Stevie.
The science is the science. You can't just make it up.
Stevie. Okay. Do you think
you guys don't like what I'm saying and you're trying to interrupt
me? Can you let me talk? Do you think that
it's not your show.
Do you think gender is concrete? Do you think it always stays the same? Gender always stays the same?
I think for thousands of years, gender and sex has been exactly the same. For thousands of years.
Well, do you,
and so
you know that they, them...
Okay.
They, them pronouns have existed for thousands of years. They, them pronouns have existed for thousands of years, Stevie.
How do you know that?
Do you think it's new?
Tell me the evidence you have for that.
Because it's documented. It's documented. I will find it. It's documented in history all throughout time. It's documented in William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare documented it.
So, Stevie...
Sorry, go ahead.
When we talk about like, so how do you feel about like how people express their gender? Is that always concrete as well to you? Do you think that's always been concrete?
No, I mean, I fully believe that if somebody wants to believe that they're something else, that's totally on them. It's just when it comes to
that's not what I asked you. That is not what I asked you.
That's where I draw the line.
That's not what I asked you.
Okay, repeat the question, please.
Do people express gender? Have people always expressed gender the same way? Is that a concrete thing? How people express gender?
I think for thousands of years, the answer would be yes. The vast majority, if not the entire world.
Do you think?
I mean, maybe you have. The
do you think makeup is feminine? Do you think dresses are feminine?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, well, makeup was originally made for men, and men have worn dresses, so I'm just like confused. Was something wrong with them thousands of years ago? Was something wrong with Jesus when he wore a robe that looks like a dress?
I mean, it's definitely not a dress. You can try to compare it, but it just doesn't work.
It does work. Okay. You've just decided it doesn't work because it doesn't fit your narrative. I would also like to bring to your attention that gender neutral pronouns like they, them have gone back as far as the 14th century, the 1300s.
Wow, congratulations. The world is a lot older than that. So my point rests. Thank you.
Okay. Stevie, I need you to lock in for a second, okay? So, gender is something that we perform.
You kind of busted yourself right there.
I'm muting you because you're such a fucking asswipe. I can't take it anymore. I'm gonna end up with like a Matt Dillahunty reputation because of people like this. I did not undo anything. You are just upset that gender-neutral pronouns have existed for centuries. It is not new. Gender-neutral pronouns also exist currently and have always existed in other cultures. Like in the Polynesian Islands, they have more than they, them. They have multiple gender neutral ways to address people. So you have just decided that it doesn't fit your Christian purity culture narrative because you want a nuclear household with a father and a mother, and that is the world that makes sense to you. And I hear it and I get it, but I'm telling you right now, you're wrong. I told you that you're wrong, and you don't like my answer. So I think that you get to actually respect the fact that I found the answer that you were looking for. You want me to go back before recorded history and figure out when the first person decided that they were gender neutral before pronouns even mattered? That doesn't make sense. We created gender pronouns as the world evolved. This is something humans literally made that up.
Stevie, I also have a very important question. How you believe that this is scientific and we're denying science. Why do we use he, him pronouns for God?
I'm unmuting you now. Hold on, Stevie. Okay, you're unmuted.
Look, I just want to clear the air. I didn't come on here to, get into a fiery debate with you guys on this topic. I just
but then you were disrespectful, and so now you are. Now you're in the debate, and you.
No, I'm just pointing out the inconsistencies in your argument. Okay, the 14th century.
Okay, can you answer my question?
There was a lot of centuries before that. You know what I mean? So I just don't think it's a good argument. But yes, would you mind restating it?
Yeah. Why do you call God he, him? To you, what is a man? What is a man? What is a man?
A man is somebody born with Y chromosome. That would be a man, and a woman doesn't have a Y chromosome. But what do you think a woman is?
Was God born with that, Stevie?
God is not a man.
No, he wasn't. So I guess we shouldn't. I guess we don't have to respect his pronouns, right? He doesn't have the male parts, right? You're denying science, Stevie. Why are you denying science? You're just going by preferred pronouns.
That's how God referred to himself, so that's why we call him that. If God referred to himself as something else,
you're told to respect that, and you're told to respect that, right? So you'll respect that. You've already shown that you don't actually believe what you're saying, and you're willing to respect a hypothetical person in a book, but you won't respect people in real life. Got it. But you don't. And
if it's denying science, if it's false, how can you tell me to deny science?
It's not denying science.
How can you tell me to call somebody something that they're not? I mean, if they want to feel that way,
you're gonna check in people's pants. You're gonna check in people's pants what they are when we're referring to people.
Why do you want us to call God male? Why do you want us to call God male?
Sorry.
Why do you want us to refer to God as he, him?
I'm just saying that God is referring to himself.
A lot of Christians have a big problem with that. A lot of Christians have a big problem with that.
And he is God, so he can do that.
So
rules for thee and not for me. Got it.
I also. What about people who are What about people? What are people who are intersex? People who are born with X. What is your question? Actually, no, I don't. It's my show, so I don't have to answer your question.
Yes, but we're supposed to have a conversation here. If
but you're being disrespectful.
Don't I make the rules in my own house? I'm not being.
I don't believe in God, so I don't believe.
I don't believe in.
I don't believe in God, so I don't.
So maybe you're being disrespectful to me. You see? Maybe you're
being disrespectful to you. How am I being? I don't know.
Same way you're saying I'm being disrespectful doesn't make sense to me, just like it doesn't make sense to you.
No.
I don't want to go
someone said
like
that's
this.
not. Someone said in chat, what's in God's pants? Someone said that. If he doesn't have what it takes, Stevie, he's not a male, right? I don't understand how you think.
The difference is we had a caller whose pronouns are they, them. I fucking knew it when you said she, her, and I corrected you, and you said she, her pronouns again. I said, okay, he doesn't want to use they, them. You are being disrespectful because I am telling you this is a real person who called, who prefers to be addressed that way. It takes zero effort for you to do that, but you want to make a point to be disrespectful to a person because you don't agree with their lifestyle. Like that person should give a shit what you agree or not agree with. Why should they care? But you are going out of your way to be disrespectful anyway. Now, in response, we are having a discourse about gender pronouns because of the actions that you took. This is in response to you and the actions you took. You were disrespectful first. This created a conversation that we didn't need to have. This entire conversation would have been avoided if you just refer to them as they, them. And this conversation would not be happening. But instead, this is what you decided to do. I would also like to draw your attention to the fact that there are intersex people who exist whose chromosomes and the way that they present physically don't always align. That is a real group of people that exist. And the group of people that are intersex far outweighs the group of people that are trans in this country. And I guarantee you are the kind of fucker that gives a shit about trans people. So you care more about the trans people that are a minority, but the intersex people we get to ignore because for whatever reason, well, actually not for whatever reason, they just don't fit into your narrative. I think I am done with Stevie as a caller. He just made me so fucking mad and he's so dishonest and I'm dropping him. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Okay.
That was making me so angry. People like that are just so infuriating. Like actually so infuriating.
And he I don't know. I mean, he just proved with the God's gender thing that he doesn't actually believe that. But I do wonder if he is fundamentalist and he takes the Bible literally because he keeps saying you deny science, which doesn't make any sense in the first place. But second of all, typically those people believe in a talking snake that the entire earth flooded, and somehow Noah built this giant ark and all these animals, like they believe this crazy stuff. But yet they're like, oh, you know what? Calling somebody a different pronoun is just too insane.
Right.
It's just laughable to me.
That's the thing is that I'm not asking you to do a lot and you are insisting on not doing it because you prefer to be disrespectful. That is your preference. And then you're going to go around and preach God and tell people that they should believe in your religion. And Pip, who is a fucking angel, Pip has to go find God. What? So they can end up like you? And be judgmental?
Right.
Fuck out of here. Are you joking?
Right.
What was the point of that? What is the point of you being so self-righteous that everyone needs to find God? But I'm making a request that you refer to someone with the pronouns that make them feel most comfortable in this life and you can't do it. Grow up. Grow up. And then you want to talk about the science. You're going to go check everyone's pants to see what kind of genitals they have? Okay, you're a pervert. Figure it out. Oh.
Yeah. And I find it ironic that the first thing we talked about when he got in here is like, what do you mean prideful Christians? Well, you gave us an example.
Yes. I just did not have the energy for that. I'm sorry. I actually, you know what's so funny, Taylor? I remember in the beginning of doing this show when I was doing it with Promise, every now and then we would have a caller and she was like, I can't do it. I need to hang up. And I'd be like, wait, I have more. And I think I did that too. And I'm sorry. But no, it's okay. I now understand how occasionally it's just like, I can't listen to you. I can't listen to him. That was crazy.
No, I understand that because I unfortunately have people in real life who are exactly like Stevie. Exactly. And some days I deal with it better than others. Like some days I'm like, okay, let me tell you about your inconsistencies. And other days I'm like, fuck you. So
fuck you.
I think that's a normal reaction because it's just that they can't let their ego go. Like they have to be right and they have to push back. It's just, I don't know. It's whatever. It's annoying.
Miserable.
And disgusting.
Miserable.
Truly, that's the thing though. The people who are like that, in my experience, that talk like Stevie, because I know too many of them, they are miserable. They're like bitter and angry old men, specifically. Like even if they're young, is what I mean. Like he sounded fairly young. Typically, they have this attitude of like this grumpy old man where I'm miserable, so you have to be too. And it's just like, oh my god, just grow up. It's okay. People are different than you. I know that's so hard to believe.
Literally, and that's the thing that's also annoying is it's very transparently fear-based. You fear what you don't understand. But I don't understand that. You have the support of an entire religion that tells you not to judge others, and here you fucking are on this phone call with people who don't seek support like that from a higher power any longer, and we're able to be accepting and loving of all people, and you're not able to do that.
Right.
But you have the support of this loving person. Come on. I hope Stevie is still listening, because he's actually, it doesn't matter because he's not going to listen to anything. But if he did for one moment in time have a moment of reflection, I would like for him to notice how fucking ridiculous that sounds.
And how miserable he sounds. You sound miserable,
Yes.
Stevie. Get well soon.
Get well fucking soon. I can't take it. Okay. We do have some more calls. And one of them, okay. Like
I don't think it's
debating
the same
if, like,
one.
Really?
Because it says, yeah, because they're from a different place, unless they just lie.
No,
because
I see our previous call. Do you see underneath it?
Oh. Okay. I didn't even pay attention to that.
I don't know.
It's up to you.
Okay. Okay. Well, we always prioritize theist calls, and so we are bringing back in fan favorite Andrew from New Jersey. Andrew from New Jersey.
I'm ready for chat to crucify us right now.
I know they're gonna be pissed, but it's whatever. Hey, Andrew.
How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
We can hear you.
I have to agree with the previous caller a little bit, Stevie. Yeah, on the whole when it comes to men. I'm sorry.
I said like, you know,
I mean, like,
buzzer, like you're wrong.
Well,
keep going.
The term when people mention woman or man, what they're usually talking about are biological terms. You know, so they're not,
and I'll tell you why. No, they're not, and I'll tell you why.
Well, most of the world is.
I'm going to tell you exactly why that's not what they're doing. If you look at me right now, Andrew, because I think you've also watched the show, so you know what I look like. What pronoun would you use for me?
She, her.
Okay, you did not look at my genitals. You actually can't even see if I have boobs. So, no, that's not what they're doing. They are referring to people based on how they are presenting, which has nothing to do with their genitals. So, that's a perfect example that the gender pronouns that we use are purely based on a societal standard of what we think a woman and a man look like. It has nothing to do with my genitals. And if I corrected you, if I corrected you and I looked exactly like this and I said, oh, I'm actually a man, so my pronouns are he, him, would you be comfortable with that? Would that be okay for you?
If you looked at me?
If I looked exactly the way that I do right now and I said that my pronouns are he, him.
Yeah, I would think you're lying.
Okay, so that is because I am performing a gender that identifies with she, her pronouns. It has nothing to do with genitals. It's about gender performance based on a societal standard. You are looking at me, and in our current societal standard, the way that I am dressing is aligned with a woman.
No. When people, in descriptive reality, if we're looking at descriptors in reality, now, you can trick people into looking like a biological woman and, and say that you're a woman if you're a man. But when people mention the word woman, most of the world thinks vagina. When men look for women, they do look for a secondary sex characteristic, but the vagina has to be there. That's what makes a woman. A woman is...
Wait, so Andrew, do you use he, him for God as well?
I do.
Explain yourself. Explain yourself. Does God have the right
Yeah,
parts
you
for
haven't
you?
seen his genitals.
Well, God
Does
is
God
Jesus
have
Christ.
genitals?
Yeah, his name is Jesus Christ.
And he showed you his penis? You should talk
Andrew,
about that with someone.
as he's existing now, and as he existed before the Jesus thing happened, did he have the right parts for you?
Jesus always existed.
What?
How about how he's existing now? Is he existing in a human body right now?
No, he's in his Son in heaven. So Jesus Christ and
So
God are
why?
one. They're not.
So why
What?
are you calling him he, him when he doesn't have his parts? Like you said. Like all you guys claim they need.
He does have his.
No,
Because
you just said he's not in a human body.
He's in his spiritual body and have. No, he's in his spiritual body is a male. When Jesus ascended to heaven, he was still a male.
How do you know that?
He was still a man.
Actually, how do you know that?
Well,
Because he had long hair. He had long hair and was wearing a dress. He had long hair and was wearing a dress. Those are things that women.
No.
Oh, it's a dress.
No, Jesus was not like dress. No, he was not dressed like a woman like it's a dress.
It's a dress.
No, it's not a dress. It's not a dress.
Oh, it's a dress.
It's a dress.
It's not a dress.
And it's a pretty dress.
No.
It's a dress. Andrew, look up a wrap dress because it's exactly what Jesus is wearing.
Yeah, I've heard the same dress Jesus is wearing.
Back to this. When people mention woman, they're talking biological sex. They're not talking some perceived. Because what is a woman besides biology? What is a woman? They tell us that it's a bunch of social roles and expectations typically of women. That's what I hear trans people say a lot.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But you can be okay. Then if you don't have those roles and expectations, are you a woman?
What do you mean if you don't have those roles or expectations?
Are you still, if you don't conform with those social roles and expectations typically assigned with women, are you a woman?
You can be. You can identify however you would like to. The whole purpose of allowing people to choose whatever pronoun works for them is to get away from the way that society views gender pronouns. This is why even if you are a feminine presenting person, you present as a woman, you are biologically a woman, it's still helpful to address pronouns. Like, it's still helpful for me to say, hi, I'm Alyssa, she, her, so that we are creating a standard that the pronoun that we're using is not related to anything aside from how I want to be identified.
Yeah, but if Christians, one of the things about Christianity is that we're not allowed to lie. And so if somebody that basically looks like LeBron James in a dress,
he, him,
and hold on, if
you're lying every single time, Andrew.
Hold on, let me just finish this, and then I got you. Like if there's some dude in a dress saying you need to call me a woman, we as Christians we feel like we're lying. Like we that's not truthful to us. And there's a lot of like
priests take a vow of chastity, right? I promise this circles back.
Catholics?
Yes, priests take a vow of chastity. So when a priest sexually assaults a child, they have violated the chastity that they agreed to, and yet what the church does is move them from one location to another. So I think actually, and also squash all of the lawsuits and pay everyone off. So I think actually the church is really okay with lying.
Yeah, well, no, the public schools do that way more than the churches. It's sexual assault of minors is higher in public schools than in the church, and the school administrators.
I don't believe that.
In Southern California.
Does that mean it's okay?
I don't believe that.
They paid off people. It was just, no, it doesn't mean it's okay. It's this problem. And the secularists talk about the sexual assault of minors and stuff in the churches, but it happens in the schools more.
And why do you
don't believe that. Andrew, I think that's a made-up statistic.
Andrew, why do you think if that were true, If that were true, why do you think that is? Could it possibly be because so many kids go to school and like only a certain percentage of children go to church? Like we're
Well,
talking about different sizes of
Go
population.
Well, even Catholic churches, they still have less assault than public churches.
And Andrew, I also want to say this. We have no idea how many kids are getting abused in churches because they don't report it. And like what just happened, they want to make it so you don't have to report child SA if somebody talks about it during a confessional. In schools, you have to report it if you discover it's happening. So it's probably being discovered more. And in churches, it doesn't.
Yes,
a lot of
legally
people don't report it. They either move the priests around, they sweep it under the rug, or they just don't report it. In fact, Donald Trump said it is anti-Catholic. It is anti-Catholic to report child SA if they talk about it in confessional. That's insane.
That's insane.
No.
Also, and wouldn't you hold priests and people that are part of this community to a higher standard too? Like, if you're telling me there's a benefit to being part of this community and you're saying, well, they're child effers like everyone else. So like everyone else is doing it. So like, why is it a problem that the priests are doing it? That's not a good argument, Andrew. Like, that's not a good argument.
Well.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be of this
Let me
world.
tell you this. Hold on, let me tell you something. In Southern California, I can give you the names of the 9 teachers who were being protected by administrators, who were being protected by the principal, who were being protected by the teachers union.
Send them to jail. Send them to jail.
Andrew. But by law, they have to report it if they find out about it. So they will get in trouble. Parts of America are allowing that priests know about SA. If they learn about SA during confessional of children, they don't have to report it legally. Do you see the issue there?
No. Yes, priests have been arrested.
You don't see the issue. You don't see the issue that in school, if you discover a child is being SA'd, you have to report it, but the church doesn't have to do the same if it's during confessional. You don't see a problem with that.
The church does have to report it. It's a crime.
No, in parts
they don't.
In parts of the United States, they don't have to. It's because
they are not legally obligated.
Don't, Andrew. No, they don't. Donald Trump, you can Google this in 2 seconds. Donald Trump said it was anti-Catholic to require priests to report child SA if it was during confessional. You can look this up in 2 seconds.
Yeah, okay, I'll check it. But in California, remember that bill that Gavin Newsom was trying to sign off on, that was going to protect trafficking of minors from 16 to 17, and it was shot down by progressives.
Literally?
It was shot down by Democrats.
Literally, I don't know what you're talking about, but that sounds fake.
That sounds made up.
It sounds like...
I'll Google it for you. I swear it's not made up.
Good, Google it.
The Democrats literally shot it down. Yeah, Google it. Google California Democrats shoot down bill.
Okay.
Anyway, instead of doing the whataboutism, Andrew, will you concede that's pretty freaking bad? That Trump and his admin and the churches decided we don't have to report SA if it's during confessional. Will you admit that's pretty concerning? Or you won't admit that?
Did Trump say that on video? Well, did Trump say that on video, or was it somebody that said that he said it?
It was a statement.
Did he say
by him?
Did he say out of his own mouth? Out of his own mouth, not by some reporter.
Andrew,
because
he said it's anti-Catholic and attack on people's faith. You can look this up. Like, I don't know what else you want me to say. Do you know when the president has a statement about something? Are you always hearing it from his mouth? No, you're not. That's a lot of times what the admin is for. They're relaying information.
Okay, so
also,
there's no audio.
Andrew,
no video.
There was also a study that was done from 1950 to 2002 alone. So this is already outdated by 20 plus years. In that range of time, there were 4,392 priests/deacons that were accused, and only 252 of them were convicted. Isn't that interesting? There was also another report from July 2022 to June of 2023, they did a charter audit that had 1,300 new allegations in a year reported in that year's cycle, which was down from the 2,700 the prior year, and $284 million in victim compensation that year alone.
Okay.
Right. These are not people. The point of the reason that this came up, the reason.
Hold on, read the ones from the public schools.
You read the ones from the public school. The burden of proof is on you, babe. You tell me. You made up a number. You made up the number.
Andrew,
you find the facts.
Andrew,
you made up the number. You
find
the facts.
I can't look it up. I'm on a phone. I can't look it up right now.
Andrew,
okay.
Nobody would ever make the claim that stuff never happens in schools or daycares or at home. But in schools, in public schools, they are required to report it. Don't you think it should be that way everywhere? Why, you won't acknowledge it, you won't call it bad. If he did say that, if that is their stance, do you think that's bad? I just need to hear you say that.
Can you tell me the policy of the church that says do not report sexual assault or rape?
Yeah, the one I'm talking about is specifically in Washington. The state I'm talking about is Washington State. It's for all churches in Washington State. There are some other states I think this has occurred in, but I don't have them memorized. But Washington is the one that I read the article about. So if that's true, do you think that's bad? Can we just get past this? Can you say yes? Bad. I just want a yes. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's all.
All right, but still, hold on, but still, it's still higher among secular schools.
Both are wrong. Put them all in jail. At least in a secular. First of all, I don't believe that because I can't accept that because you have not given me any proof. Right now, we're operating on the facts. The facts that you're just presenting, and I found studies for my claim. So if you want me to believe yours, you have to give me some sort of information because at this point you're just making stuff up. Also, you have to recognize that there are far more people who go to there are far more people. Andrew, stop interrupting me. There are far more people who go to secular schools than there are ones who go to Catholic schools. So the number of people that are in the sample size to begin with is going to be much higher for secular students as well. And at the end of the day, people who are going to a secular school and experience people who are, I muted you because you just literally will not stop talking. When people are going to a secular school and sexual assault happens, first of all, at least they're more likely to get an education that would support them reporting that type of an incident. In a Catholic school, they will not get that kind of education. It's deeply tied to sex education. They're not going to get any information about body autonomy. In secular schools, they will. It is still absolutely a problem in secular schools. However, the reason that I initially brought this, also, like Taylor said, in a school system, they are mandatory reporters. If they find that there has been any sort of abuse, it has to be reported legally. And if you find out that someone new was a mandatory reporter and did not say anything, they are also held liable for that. That doesn't exist in the Catholic school system. Okay. The reason why I also brought this up is because we were talking about gender binaries and you felt that it was lying to identify as a different gender or a different gender identity than the one that you are biologically assigned. That's where this came from. And then I said, I think the Catholic Church is actually perfectly fine with lying. So I would actually also like to get back to the original point, which is, again, people seem to have a fucking problem using they, them pronouns, even though we use they, them to talk about other people all the time. Like if I said to my mom, oh, where's Danielle? She'd be like, oh, they went upstairs, and wouldn't think twice about it. But for some reason, when someone is requesting it from you, then you insist on being disrespectful. I'm unmuting you now.
Oh, okay. For one, they, them is a plural term. If they want me to use they them for one person. That is dumb. I'm not. I don't want to do that.
Andrew, I
Number
know.
one. Number two.
I know you passed fourth grade. I know you passed fourth grade. I know you know it can be singular. I know you know it can be singular. You just said something factually untrue. If someone asks me, when is Andrew going to get here? And I say, they're going to get here soon. Am I talking about multiple people?
No,
Sorry,
if you say when is Andrew going okay, if you say when is Andrew going to get here, people will usually say he's going to get here at X, not they.
No. I don't care. I don't care what people normally say, what you think people normally say. If someone said, when is Andrew going to get here? And I say, they are going to be here soon, which is a common sentence. Am I talking about multiple people?
Yes, you're talking about multiple people.
No, you're not.
That's two or more.
Andrew, no, you don't know grammar.
Andrew, we learned this in like third grade or something. It might even be like first grade. I don't know, but we learned this very early on that they, them can be singular. This is nothing new.
You also use it, Andrew, more than you use it more than you think you do. You use it. I promise you do. I promise you use they, them in a singular way. You just don't realize you are.
No,
it's just the truth.
No, I don't. No.
Yes,
and by the way,
do.
Why do if gender has nothing to do with sex, why do some of them remove their private areas?
What are you talking about? Who is them? Who are you talking about?
Like transgender
also,
people.
Remove
when they get the trans surgery
their private areas. Remove their what are they?
Yes,
just
when they get the
pee out of a hole like one of those like rainfall showers. What are you talking about? Remove their body parts.
When they have the penis removed, or however they do it. When they turn, I don't know how it works, but when they get those surgeries, if it has nothing to do with sex, why do they do that? Because they want you to see them as biological women.
No, because the point is you're not going to check, so it doesn't matter. You're not going to check. You are not going to go up to me and say, "I'm sorry, can I just look in your pants before I call you she her?" The reason why people alter their genitals is for them. It is for them. It is explicitly for them because that feels more aligned. There's something called gender dysphoria. It is very well documented. It's a psychological more aligned with who they feel they are. There's something called gender dysphoria,
biological sex.
Which is Andrew, if you would shut up for 1 second, then I can finish my sentence, but you insist on interrupting me, which is why I keep muting you. Gender dysphoria is a psychological phenomenon when someone feels that what their body is presenting is not aligned with how they would like to be presenting. So this is like what people who are trans experience all the time. Gender dysphoria. This is something that is psychological and very well documented. And that is why people make alterations to their body that make them feel better, that also drastically increase the chance that they make it to the end of their life in a healthy manner. It drastically decreases the rate of those people having gender affirming care drastically decreases the rate of people unaliving themselves. It's the same way. Okay, so if I decide right now in real life, I have A cup boobs. I'm pretty flat up here. If I decide that I am going to get a C cup, I'm going to get a boob job because it's going to make me feel like more of a woman. Do you have a problem with me doing that?
If you get a boob job,
do you have a problem with women getting boob jobs? Do you have a problem with women getting breast implants?
Yeah.
You do. Why?
I do. Yeah.
Why?
Because it's not
Tell me
good
why.
for them.
Because it's not good for them. Why is it not good for them? How?
Well, it's linked. Well, breast implants is linked with breast cancer.
Okay, so it's a health concern, but it has nothing to do with the fact that if I decide that I'm going to get breast implants, it's because it's going to make me feel more affirmed in my gender representation. It will make me feel more like a woman. You don't have a problem with that?
What does that mean, more like a woman? What does that mean? I don't know what more like a woman is. What is that?
Okay, you tell me because you're the one who seems, you're the one. Yes, And I am happy to accept however anyone wants to express their gender. I don't care. It doesn't affect me, and I will go to bat and defend people who want to present themselves however they would like, because it doesn't affect my personal life. But it does affect my life if other people are so unhappy, with the way that they are being represented out in this world, that they would prefer to leave it because people like you can't use they, them pronouns. You risk somebody's life when you do shit like that, Andrew. You risk somebody's life. So you would prefer your comfort because you don't want to fucking learn a new thing. You would rather not learn a new thing and risk those people's lives. How Christian is that of you? That you would rather risk people's lives? Because that's the truth. That's the truth. That's the science. You want to talk? Okay. You want to talk about science? Yeah. Look up gender dysphoria.
I understand, but basically what they're doing, if you're talking about suicidal ideation, it's basically emotional hostage taking. It's saying that if you don't affirm my gender, I'm going to kill myself. That's what they telling the public that they're going to do. It's not a hostage situation.
It's not a hostage. It's not a hostage.
Says that.
If all you have to do, Andrew, if I say the only thing that you have to do to make me feel more comfortable being on this earth is to call me they, them, and you say, you're holding me hostage. Are you fucking serious? Are you actually? Are you insane? Okay, so you would rather risk somebody's life. You'd rather risk somebody's life. You're more comfortable as a Christian, as a loving Christian who believes that it's all love. You'd rather risk somebody's life because fuck them. You don't want to learn a new thing. That's the reason. You just don't want to learn a new thing. Okay, that's interesting. That's the legacy you leave behind. You'd rather risk people's lives. You'd rather risk people's lives than learn a new thing.
Yeah, but they want to. Okay, then if that's the case, what? Like, I don't have no problem if somebody want to live their life and do whatever they want to do and do the whole trans thing. That's fine. But when they start passing legislation saying that if you don't do X, we're going to hit you with a fine, or if you own a business and they say if you don't use gender neutral pronouns, we're going to. In New York, they have laws that says if you don't use gender neutral pronouns, you get fined.
Yeah, well, because they want to be able to protect, because they care about those people's lives. They say these people's lives, if what will keep them on this earth and healthy is to defend the fact that they just want to be called they, them, then yeah, I'm going to hit you with a $200 fine because that $200 is well worth keeping that person safe. I don't think that's crazy. I don't think that's crazy at all.
Andrew,
and all businesses.
What about what?
Go ahead.
It's also a safety thing within, like let's say somebody was working somewhere and nobody knew they were trans, and their boss told everybody. That could put them in serious danger with people. Do you recognize that? Do you think maybe that's maybe not the best idea?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? It cut out a little bit on my side.
Yeah, it's also a safety thing, as in if somebody is working at a job, nobody knows they're trans, and they get outed by their boss in front of everybody. Do you think that could maybe cause some problems? Like that could risk their safety?
Like, are they going to get physically attacked or something by the people on the job?
Yes. Or harassed, or whatever it is.
Like outed by their boss, like the boss goes around telling people like, hey, this is a man or a woman or whatever.
Yes.
Maybe. It might. I haven't heard any cases of, a bunch of people ganging up on a trans person, being attacked.
What?
Well, you should look it up sometime.
Andrew, what? You have not heard people being violent? You haven't heard people being violent to trans people?
No, no, not that. I'm talking about just because the boss ran up and said, "Hey, everybody,
so why couldn't that happen in a
person
workplace?
Over there is a woman," and then. No, I'm saying I never heard of a story of a boss saying, "Hey guys, that person is a man," and then the employees go over there and physically attack them. That I never heard of. I'm not saying trans people don't get attacked.
And it doesn't just have to be physical. They can also harass them by taunting them, which happens a lot. I have actually seen that myself with my own 2 eyes at a company I used to work with, where I was working with someone who was transgender. I watched that happen. So now what? You think that should be acceptable in the workplace?
No, they can just quit.
Oh,
So they have
okay.
to quit their job.
So people should just quit when they're being harassed. The work shouldn't. The job shouldn't do anything. Should we also do that with because a lot of times they sexualize transgender people, and so it can be sexual harassment. Anyone who experiences sexual harassment, they should just quit their job. The company has no responsibility whatsoever.
No. I'll just fire them. That's what I would do. Like, I'll be like, hey guys, don't harass this person. If it happens again, I'll fire him. But I don't want to get hit.
Okay.
If I'm a boss, I don't want to get hit with no $200,000 fine, and then I have to pay for lawyers.
And then be respectful.
And you can avoid all of it. You can avoid all of it.
But
stop thinking about everybody else's genitals. The only people who think about other people's genitals in this life are transphobes. You guys think about what is in other people's pants more than anyone ever fucking does. If I meet someone and they say, "Hi, I'm so and so. My pronouns are she, her," I don't think about if they have what they have in their pants because I don't care. You do, Andrew. Doesn't that make you feel weird? Why are you thinking so much about other people's genitals? Is that not weird to you? Also, how about this? For a very long period of time, if you were a person of color, businesses could turn you away. Jobs didn't have to hire you. And you were discriminated against. We no longer have those laws. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do agree with that, yeah.
Okay, what's the fucking difference? What's the difference?
Well, the difference with me is that my race is an immutable characteristic. It's something that I was born with. People with gender
people who are trans are born that way. People who are trans are born that way. Do you think genuinely, Andrew, Andrew, be so fucking serious. Do you genuinely think that it makes sense that a person would choose to be a part of the world that is hated, that is attacked, that is has their lives risked every day, that state to state their rights change? Why the fuck would anyone choose that unless they really, really had to? Why would you do that? That's you cannot. If you use an ounce of critical thought, you would know that's not true. That doesn't make sense. No one would ever do that. And here's a really great way that I can explain this to you. Andrew, you date women, correct?
Yeah, I do. Can I?
Okay. So you date? No, you can't. Hold on. No.
I do.
Let me finish my thought. Okay, you date women. If I tell you right now that I want you to make out with the guy that is nearest to you, would you do it?
I'd make out with a dude?
Yeah.
No.
How do you know that? How do you know that you won't do it?
What do you mean? How do I know? I don't know.
Why won't you do it? Why won't you?
Because
what's the reason?
Because I'm not a homosexual.
How do you know that?
What do you mean? How do I know that?
How do you know that you are not attracted to men?
Because I get aroused at women and not at men.
Okay, great. So the same way that you can understand your arousal, these are people who understand the choices that they're making. Why do you feel like these people can't make choices and can't understand what they're doing? That makes no sense. Why would they choose the hardest path available? The hardest path available is to be a trans person in this country right now. Why would they choose that?
Well,
that's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
I'll tell you why they choose it. One, for example, Megan Fox, she has 3 kids that are all trans. That is ridiculous. You mean tell me all 3 of her kids, they're all trans? Number 2, it's trendy to be, especially on TikTok, trans people get a lot of support. They get more support than you actually think. They throw entire gigantic parades and all this stuff. It's most of the people, especially in progressive states, they're even in Texas, they're pro-trans. So I don't know too many people that's, well, there's a lot of people, the Christian community, but trans people get a lot of support. They get a lot of money when it comes to their groups and all that and all this stuff. So I don't know.
Okay, so I would also like to point out that in 2023 there were 2020. So, oh, damn! Did you want to contribute something before I start yapping?
No, I just said basically, God forbid if any trans people get any kind of support on TikTok, like the tragedy of it all. That's all.
From May 2024 to May 2025. From May 2024 to May 2025, GLAAD tracked 932 anti-LGBTQ incidents in that year alone, which was 2.5 incidents per day, and over half were specifically targeted at transgender and gender nonconforming individuals, resulting in 84 injuries and 10 deaths. In 2022, hate crimes against transgender and gender nonconforming people rose 33% from the previous year. Let's see. The U.S. is ranked third globally for reported fatal transphobic violence, behind Brazil and Mexico. Homicides of trans people nearly doubled over 4 years, rising from 29 in 2017 to 56. And specifically in the Black trans community, the homicide rate drastically goes up. Let's see, what else?
I agree with all that. I agree with those stats.
So why are you telling me that being a trans person is easy? These people are getting killed. Well, they're literally risking their lives to be trans. So why would they choose that unless they felt like they had to? Why would they choose that?
Well, a lot of these, I'm not going to speak for all violence, but a lot of the violence comes from, you have trans people not telling a person that they messing with sexually that they're trans. And so especially in the Black community,
and so you get to kill them.
With another dude,
and so you get to kill them.
I'm just giving a reason why they get killed. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying why they kill them. A lot of the guys, like a man sleeping with another man.
Justifying murder is insane. And also, if they got far enough that if they got far enough that they saw the person was trans and then still slept with them and then was upset, then I have nothing to say for that. That's crazy. That's crazy. They were like,
do you think trans people should be
what?
Do you think trans people should be okay? Do you think trans people should be like required to tell their partners that they're trans, not keep it a secret?
I think that it would be a hard secret to keep. At some point, you're going to have sex with the person. It's not a secret that you keep forever.
To be intimate.
Yeah, and I don't think
like in the
Andrew, believe it or not, hold on. Yeah. Believe it or not, trans people typically don't want to hook up with people who are transphobic. I know that's maybe hard to believe, but typically that's the case. So this idea that trans people are going to trick you into having something with them, that is made up. That is a made up thing that
it's
conservative people say. I can promise you
because they don't want to engage in homosexuality.
Okay, then they don't have to.
Most guys don't want to.
Then they don't have to.
Most guys don't want to engage in homosexuality. Yeah, most guys don't want to engage in homosexuality. That's why a man sleeping with another biological man is gay. Even if he identifies as a woman, it's still gay.
No one has to sleep with anyone that they don't want to. No one is forcing you to sleep with someone.
Yeah, like y'all would agree with it, right? If a man is giving his trans girlfriend a blowjob, that's homosexual sex, right? Y'all agree with that?
Oh my God, Andrew, we had this conversation a very long time ago, and I don't have the energy or the computer battery for it. So I'm capping this call here. And Taylor, you can have your final thoughts.
I just cannot imagine caring about how people have sex. Like, I just can't imagine caring about oh, this is homosexual sex, but this isn't. What the hell? What are we even talking about? Why do we care?
Who are you even giving that description to?
Yeah, I don't know. There's just some people that's weird, and they say it's straight. I don't know. I was just asking. I just was curious.
I don't care. But when you're talking about having sex with someone, and you're like telling a friend, be like, "Oh yeah, we hooked up." People are not like, "Yeah, we had gay sex last night." Like, no one says that. So why would it matter how you identify what the sex is? No one identifies what this. The only time I ever hear of gay, like when someone says the phrase "gay sex," is when they're going to be awful immediately after.
I mean, most men don't. I mean, especially black men. Most black men don't. They don't play that. That's why it's so bad for trans people in the black community.
They don't have to have sex with anyone they don't want to. If they had sex with someone that is trans, they wanted to. Sorry, they wanted to.
Yeah, they got.
If they did,
thinking that they're sleeping with a.
Andrew,
how
you genuine how? Okay, I need you to like think about
that whole process and still be tricked. It doesn't make any sense, Andrew.
Andrew, imagine this for a second. You're a guy. You decide you're going to have sex with someone that you didn't realize had a penis. All of the clothes are off, and you're looking for the vagina. You don't find it. You find what instead, and then you ignore it for a second. You have sex with the person anyway, and then you go, oh, "That was a penis." What are you talking about? They would have seen it before.
Well, no,
they weren't tricked. They were not tricked. You don't get tricked into having sex with a trans person. That's not real.
No, not intercourse like that. But when it comes to things like oral sex, men want like oral sex with a biological woman, not a trans woman. So a lot of the guys, they get like oral sex. But
yes, like, I'm sure there's so many devastated men out there who've had their dick sucked. Oh, that's so sad. Here's the world's smallest violin. Like, they're fine. And how often do you think this happens, Andrew?
No, man.
Also,
how often do you think this happens?
I mean,
do you know that
the
trans people are like a very, very, very small minority of the human beings that exist, especially in the US. So this does not happen as often as you think it does. And if it's happening a lot in your circle of friends, I have news for you about your circle of friends. They like trans women, which is great.
Would y'all date trans men?
Yes.
A woman that identifies as a you date a trans man? So
yes.
So y'all lesbians then, right?
I'm bisexual, so sometimes.
I mean, okay, so you're bisexual.
I wouldn't care.
Okay,
you could decide to call me whatever sexuality you want. I don't give a fuck because it's weird for you to care. Doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Okay, Andrew.
I called in last time, and Arden. Yeah. Okay.
We're gonna let you go because my computer's gonna die soon, and I want to make sure we get to super chats. Thank you again for another thrilling call, and we'll catch you next time.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Bye. One thing about Andrew that I think is so funny is he's like very resilient. Like he'll say the craziest things. We'll say the crazy, like we'll be like offensive back to him. At the end of the call, he's like, "All right, thank you, thanks, ma'am." And like ends the call, and I'm like, "Okay, I guess." Anyway,
it makes me sad that every time he calls in, nothing has changed. It's like
nothing's changed. But you know what? I had this conversation with my mom recently in the car because we were actually talking about a different Andrew call, and I said, you know what? Sometimes it's not about like changing the perspective of the person on the call, but it is helpful for people who might be listening and like have a similar thought
100%
process. It's like, and then they hear it and they're like, wait, that actually kind of sounds dumb. So you never know. You never know whose minds are actually changing. Yeah. So whatever.
No,
anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Also, what I was gonna say is what I meant by that is I feel like the first time I ever had a call with him, he seemed way more, I guess, open to things, and it seems like every time he's called in after that is like, I don't know if it's progressively worse, but like a lot worse than what I remember. So it's just kind of disappointing because you would think that I don't know. I don't know what I would think. I don't know.
I know.
Who knows?
I don't know. I also, like, guys, as a group, should I be worried about how angry I've been getting on these calls? I'm
No.
slowly, I'm like,
I like it.
think I'm getting
I like it.
Worse.
Do it more. I like it. It's fun.
I also, today, Taylor, I posted a thing on Reels, and I was like, you know what, all of my content feels so negative recently, and I was like, I should post something that's like positive and nice. So I did. And the reel is like the worst views ever. And I put it in my story and I said, this is why I don't post anything positive. This is why I'm evil on this app. Because you guys don't care. You only want to see me be evil.
You gotta be. That's what the people want to see.
Give them what they want,
true.
which is me screaming at people.
Yeah,
oh my god. Okay, anyway. $25 from Zurith Moonpaw. Guess who just got a new to me SUV. This dumbass right here. My brother bought me a used 2009 Ford Edge and gave me money to go enjoy my new freedom at a nice eatery, but I bought some burgers and this super chat. I'm so glad. Congratulations on your new car.
Thank you.
I wish you lots of luck. Thank you.
$5 from Joshua Everett. Hello, lovely people. I'm starting the line host survey this week. Have either of you ever intentionally or not kicked another person in the face? Oh, I'd have to really think about that. I grew up with two brothers around my age, so probably. There's like no way I didn't kick them at some point. So my answer is yes.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to say yes too, because I'm really like, my depth perception is really bad. So like I will walk into stuff, bump into stuff, like for sure. I've like, the amount of times I poke my boyfriend in the eye is kind of like unbelievable. So yeah, probably.
And mine was probably intentional.
Yeah. $10 from the Atheist Mechanic. Here's a super chat to support another one of the great shows on this awesome network. Y'all are great. Keep doing the great work y'all do. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
sir.
$5 from, oh my gosh,
Krenich?
Justice for chewed gum and happy fall. Thank you. I know, fall's exciting.
I have a pumpkin candle that's burning right now.
Oh, me too, but it's like witch something scent, which doesn't make sense.
Ooh.
My witch's brew, my witch's candle. It'd be going off, popping off over here.
I have to start getting my Halloween decorations up. I'm kind of shocked that we're like a week into September and I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, September 1st. That's the deadline. Like you need to have everything else September 1st.
I'm gonna take out my stuff this week and I'm gonna start decorating, putting my stuff up. $5 from Joshua Everett. I always love the here's the rules that I made up for the other people that aren't even in the book calls.
Yep.
Right.
Preach.
Always.
$5 from the Atheist Mechanic. So, can someone please explain why anyone should be listening to a criminal organization that is the Catholic Church? Great question.
I would love to know.
Great question.
And then to look for them for like moral guidance is crazy. $5.
That picture though.
poor Forrest. $5
Is that
from
like
Joshua.
half of Jimmy, half of Forrest?
Oh, it is. That's exactly what it is. That's a
mutant abomination.
Oh God, scary. $5 from Joshua regarding Adam. I don't give half a fart. Oh my God, half a fart is amazing about the view of the Catholic Church, and I think that people who are the contaminated ones. Okay, sorry, I could not read that for a second, but I agree. I agree.
$10 from the Atheist Mechanic. Adam's. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I was just gonna say, even partially because I think that you are morally incongruent. Like if you believe everything that is a part of that religion, but then you also turn around and you're like, but I love trans people. Like, well, the community that you are a part of does not. And so, even still, I'm like, you're still morally corrupt. Sorry.
Yeah, it's also just like a dysfunctional form of love, is what I think.
Yeah.
$10 from Atheist Mechanic. Adam's call was boring yet concerning. It's clear to me. After that, religious people are not okay. May the monad deliver them from the nonsense. Okay, I have a question. Was the first person we took, or the first person we took from UK, was their name also Adam?
Yes. Did we have two Adams?
That's why I got so freaking confused. I was like, wait, this isn't the same Adam, but now I understand what happened there. Okay. Yeah, there were two Adams, right? I'm not crazy.
The last one was promise. Andrew.
Okay. No, wait, no. Yeah, but then there was I thought there was an Adam at beginning and then Adam.
Was there another one?
Before
there was Andrew? Adam, Stevie, and Andrew, I think, today.
Okay, it's fine. I am crazy. I lied to you. Sorry about that.
You know what? Listen, I just want to make you feel affirmed. There was another Adam, and that happened, and no one in the chat better tell her differently.
And you can confirm it.
And I was there. Okay,
guys, I'm not delusional.
10 pounds from the Fuzzy Logic. Does Adam seriously expect us to take advice on purity and chastity from the Catholic Church, which has been facilitating child SA and promoting the subjugation of women for over 2,000 years? That's what I'm saying. Like, be so serious. Come on.
$10 from Barbara Barrett. No charity, rewards, and appreciation for your patience.
Thank you, Barbara. That's really nice. $15 from Ashley Webb. Half the proceeds I received from my book sales. Other half is going towards an organization that supports both women's health and trans health. That's you, amazing, Ashley. That's awesome. And that's really generous that you're sharing half of that with us. Thank you for doing that.
$4.99 from Robin Anderson Wood. We're 100-year spec in a 14 billion year cosmos. Purity, culture, shame, squanders our tiny squanders. Oh my gosh, it's fine. Squanders our tiny moment. Empathy, consent, truth, no shame required. Love the show. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, I forgot to list Pip in our callers, and I think it's just because I'm thinking of the ones that made me blood red fucking mad.
No, yeah.
Pip was lovely.
No, I was just thinking of the yes.
They always are. 5 pounds from Barbara Barrett. AFK as... I don't know what AFK is. And what the heck is slow mode? Oh, slow mode allows you to be able to read all of the messages easier, so they like just come in slower. And I don't know I think all of the messages still come through, but in chat it just comes through slower. I don't know what AFK is though. But
got it.
Okay.
533 from Bobby Kingston. Speaking in anything but a flat monotone is prideful, taking pleasure in your own voice, which leads to consuming people for their nutrients. Amen. It's funny too because that is such a debate bro tactic. Like, number one, speaking in word salads that make absolutely no sense. I'm sorry, but the thing is, if somebody says a bunch of word salad and you're like, what you're saying doesn't make sense, they'll be like, well, you're just not intellectual enough to understand my thoughts.
Yeah.
But then they also do the monotone thing because they think that any sense of emotion is like bad or feminine or something. It's very bizarre.
Very bizarre. And also just made me like, it made me feel like I like couldn't pay attention to what he was saying. I was already sleepy going into the show. And then he started talking and I was like, oh God. Yeah.
It's okay. It didn't even make sense.
Calls, it really didn't. And in those calls, I always have a moment where I'm like, am I not understanding because I'm just like not understanding, or are they making no sense? And every single time without fail, they are not making sense.
Yeah, it's the Jordan Peterson tactic.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. $5 from Queered Artistry. Cute. Okay. Hang in there, Pip. I unexpectedly met my boyfriend in a Facebook atheist group. That's what I'm saying. Okay, that's what I'm saying, because you engaged in a community that is meaningful to you. And you met someone. It's awesome. Love it.
$5 from Jessica Doodoo McButtface. Nice. A little donation towards Pip's therapy session.
I'm off sync because my computer's dying.
With Alyssa today, you should start. It's fine. I forget how to read as soon as I get in here. You should start doing the super chat competition they do on TACIS to encourage more super chat. What is that? Do you know what that is?
I think they compete.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yes. Yes, I am. Hi, guys.
With each other, but I can't remember. Like
$5 from Alyssa Silverbow. Meeting 3 new people this week sounds exhausting. Can I start? Hello? Guys, it's almost like she's still here in spirit. I heard you before I saw you. It's almost like she is still here. You're like Prism. That's okay. I'll finish reading this one. Sounds exhausting. Can I start with one a season? Yes, you can. Hashtag this is why I'm still single. It's okay. We support you. Thank you, Ali Shauna. I think she has left us once again. $5 from Space Barbarian. If Stevie doesn't identify as an a-hole, I won't entertain this delusion. Facts. Fair enough. $10 from the Fuzzy Logic. Okay, Stevie, if someone believes they are something else and calling them by a certain name or pronoun causes them distress and you intentionally do it anyway, is that your Christian values? He would probably say yes.
Guys, I pulled a wild card
girl,
and I tuned in from my phone. So we made it.
I'm so awkward by myself. I need to work on that. I'm like...
One thing about me, I'm not going to miss super chats. I wish I could
pass one.
Okay.
$20.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I got it. $20 from Mr. Boricua 10. Great evening overall. Had a bit of spice and contention. Adam seemed more reasonable relatively. Stevie. I'm bald and I'm pulling at the stubs left over. God damn it. That is so funny.
Damn. $10 from Alyssa Silverbow. Stevie makes a claim without evidence. Alyssa makes a counterclaim. Stevie demands evidence. Alyssa provides evidence. Stevie rejects evidence and claims victory. Also, Stevie is a transphobic bigot.
Right.
Yep.
And then also what was annoying is I would provide actual evidence and then he would respond and be like and invalidate everything I said. And I was like, well, there's nothing I could say, obviously, that's going to be helpful to you. So what are we doing? 10 Canadian dollars from Jessica Gallagher. Taylor is a great addition to the line. Much love from Canada. Thanks for helping me lose the shame of my body count and for making a positive difference in this world. Yay!
Thanks,
we
Jessica.
Love
Taylor. $5 from Coffee Mom. In a world full of Stevies, be an Alyssa and a Taylor because life already sucks enough without you being the absolute worst on purpose. Yeah, exactly. That's something I talk about so much is like the world is so cruel already. Like, why are you doing that? It's just sad.
Yeah, just determined to be a jerk. $5 from Beliefs Bizarre. First, super chat to the line. Hosts of this show are awesome, but the callers are pretty gross and harder to listen to than theists just defending God. I know. It's
we had some rough ones tonight.
Yeah, they're not always that bad, but I think just having a show that's like primarily women and also because of like my expertise, people really like to be gross and terrible.
$10 from Joshua Everett. I have little nice to say about Stevie. He's bottom of the lines rogues gallery of recent callers. He's so confident and proud of his blatant ignorance and terrible attitude. He's a turd and a half. Preach it.
Turd and a half. Yeah, he is a turd and a half. $5 from Coffee Mom. When Andrew asks, do you believe in God? He's confirming if you believe women are subjugated helper/whores, that his PP God made just for men. Right. His PP God is so funny.
$10 from the atheist mechanic. I had some hope that Andrew could be better. That hope is squashed.
The last time Andrew called, I literally ended that call screaming at him, "You're better than this!" And the comments on that video are like, the comments on that video are like, respectfully, no, he's not. And unfortunately, $10 or $5 from A. Greenwich, New Jersey will be returning Andrew to sender, Antarctica. #death. Yeah.
$4.99 from Hannah Hodgins. Damn it, Andrew. Big sigh. Same. Thanks,
He's
Hannah.
so tough. He's so tough. $5 from Joshua Everett. I swear if Andrew says maybe kids were lying for attention. Yeah, like that's where he was heading. Like, really, you think that people would take the hardest path of
Okay. Okay. $10 from Mr. Borica. I tried.
That was weird.
And here we have Andrew. Mate, what the freak? How disgusting must you be to defend a very bad position of priest being fine with essay issue as is? Get your head out of your derriere, you nasty.
You're nasty. $5 from Space Barbarian. Andrew, whatever do we call a person if we don't know their gender? Right, their gender. There. Singular.
Yeah, that I was shocked that he like fought on that point that it can't be singular. I was actually shocked by that. $10 from the atheist mechanic, and Andrew proves he needs to go back to elementary school language arts class. Saddening. Yeah, I was just shocked.
I wish I was more shocked. I was like, this is nothing with Andrew shocks me any longer, I fear. $5 or £5 from Mystic Minds Analysis Tavern. Remember, you matter unless you travel at the speed of light, then you energy. Yeah, that's good. I like that.
$5 from Stephen G. Clinard. It's hard not to hate Christians when Stephen and Andrew call in. Well,
I know.
I understand the frustration.
Oh wow, $100 from WK Misty Nipples. Okay, first of all, love the name.
Thank you, Misty Nipples.
That is so kind. Thank you so much. I am proud of being able to donate to multiple charities every month. I'm a bad Christian. Well, good. I don't need that in my life anyway. #love you soon. #team Zerba. #go fuck yourself, Jimmy. Oh, and #YGH. Did I get most of the hashtags? What's YGH?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you got that one because I did not know most of those. What
is that from?
It's a new one.
That's crazy. That's really funny. Thank you so much, Misty.
We love you. $5 from Joshua Everett. It literally happened at one of my work sites. Screw you, Andrew. I hope no one treats you half as bad as you're willing to allow others to be treated. Yeah, exactly. Like, I've seen it firsthand, and it's just...
Did anyone else also think it was interesting that he is a black man and was talking about, like, not protecting people from prejudice? Like, he couldn't see the connection between, like, how do you not want to protect other people?
Yeah, and I swear at some point he said, like, the black community's bad to trans people or something, and I was like, wait, I'm so confused. I don't know why he said that if he, like, just went through that whole argument. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh yeah, trans people are treated bad. It's like, okay.
It's crazy.
Right.
$5 from Joshua Everett. It literally oh, no, sorry, you read that one.
$10 from Legally Mod. As a trans woman, You really shouldn't use risking our lives line. We're stronger than punks like Andrew. Being misgendered is usually a minor nuance. I prefer being kind costs nothing. No, I agree with you that typically it's just people misgendering and sometimes on purpose. I was kind of talking about less common I don't want to say it's like it is less common than being misgendered, but where people are like physically attacked. But I do recognize that does not happen nearly as much as being misgendered.
50 Canadian dollars from Ayla Ursus. Damn, Pip was such a nice call. Too bad they were followed by Stevie and Andrew. Love how passionate you two are about it, though. Can't help it.
It was a
But
wild
thank
ride.
you. It really was.
$5 from Legally Mod. In other news that tonight's transphobic callers would hate, I got large breast implants last week and they're absolutely magnificent. Congratulations!
Yeah.
I hope you
I love
are
it.
healing well and fast.
Yes. Same. That's awesome. $4.99 from Hannah Hodgins. I don't care if this sounds mean, Andrew. Your moral compass fucking sucks, dude. Oh my god. I know. It really is not. It is not great. But I think that Andrew's also like kind of a representation of a lot of the way that men in this country think.
Yep.
Unfortunately, like his moral compass sucks and also is not uncommon.
Right. Yeah. $5 from Alishana Silverbow. We need a palate cleanser after that. I went to the aquarium this weekend and I didn't stay for long. There's something fishy about that place. I love the aquarium. Me and my friend went
Me
to the
too.
aquarium not that long ago. I just
The
be a
aquarium's
child in
so
there
fun.
reading all this stuff, looking at the fish. It's so tranquil.
I love it. It's very calm in there. $5 from Legally Mod. Angry Alyssa is fun, Alyssa. So
Yes, that's what I'm saying. See? It's the popular opinion.
I know. My throat is like actually kind of sore because I was like legitimately yelling. I'm gonna come upstairs, my mom's gonna be like, hello? What was that?
It's okay, just make sure it's healed for next week.
Exactly. I'll be on vocal rest until then.
$4.99 from Lewis Morales. I am here for Spicy Alyssa and take no bullshit arguments, Taylor. Yay!
Yeah. How many dollars in super chats do we need to? Okay. Here's the thing. I have a charger. It's plugged in.
But
it's
it
plugged
can't
into
reach.
the charger. No, it reaches. It is not an issue of any of that kind of stuff. My computer is just old, and so the battery doesn't hold a charge for very very long. And if it's plugged in and I'm doing too much stuff on it, which this is what happens when I'm doing the show, it's not charging at the same time and it's only running off of its battery. So like it doesn't charge at the same time as the battery is going down. So anyway, I need to go get a battery replacement and I haven't done it. And literally yesterday, Jimmy like Jedi mind tricked me and he was like, what do you have going on Wednesday? And I was like, actually kind of nothing. And he's like, great, get your computer fixed. And I was like, and you're right. And you're right, I should do that. You're right, I should do that. I just am so worried they're gonna take it and then I'm not gonna have it for a couple of days and that's gonna like ruin my life. So anyway, that's the situation. But I do have a charger.
I feel that though. My laptop is super old and it doesn't even work, so I'm using my iPad for this.
Yeah.
$10 from Tens Shaku? I'm sorry if I said that wrong. I'm so sorry. As a Zen Buddhist, it's sickening to me that people can claim to be spiritual while rejecting objective facts of humanity. Discussing trans rights are human rights. Preach it.
Period. $10 from Sapphic Hazard. This is my first for real actual super chat, but I just finished paying off a vehicle. You hosts are doing wonderful work, and please don't be less angry unless you need to. It resonates. Thank you so much. Congratulations for paying off your car. That must feel so good.
Yeah, that is such a nice feeling.
Yeah, we'll keep yelling.
$5 from Inane Glory. What is IDKW? Like, I don't know when. Is it? I don't know when.
I don't know why.
I don't know. I'm old. Oh,
Maybe I don't know why.
Adam's Catholic guilt was extremely triggering tonight. Lots of old memories of being raised Catholic and a family built on guilt. Yeah, it was so interesting him coming up with like all these theories about like people like out to get you and stuff and like what people's true motives are. I'm like, damn, that's a dark world you're living in. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I don't want to live in that version of the world. Yeah. Oh boy. 5 pounds from the Fuzzy Logic. Cinnamon flavored gum has always been my favorite. I guess you could say I like my chewed gum to be spicy. Hey. There's merch. There's a merch idea somewhere in there. Oh,
$5
you guys.
What?
A power bank wouldn't fix it. Okay. If you really I'll go get my battery replaced. What we actually need to do is start a fund for me to get a new computer because this computer is almost 10 years old. That's what we actually need to do. That will be
who's gonna buy Alyssa a new computer, guys? Come on.
Yeah. That's
one of you sugar daddies out there.
Yeah. Come through.
If only all the sugar daddies on like TikTok and Instagram were real. Do you get those messages all the time?
Yes.
It's like, would you like for me to send you $8,000? It's like, I wish you were real.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, I do actually. $5 from Bleeding Roses. Thank you for being brave enough to say the things I wish I could to people like Stevie and Andrew. Love the show. Love you guys. We love you.
Thank you.
And yeah, truly my pleasure. Okay. $4.99 from. Oh, sorry, this is you. I don't know why I just decided to do that.
$4.99 from Hannah Hodgins. It's concerning how many men think like Andrew does. Horrifying. It is horrifying. You are right, Hannah. You're so right.
Oh, one more. Okay. $4.99 from Deborah. Hello, beautiful people. Working in a public library in Missouri has shown me how hateful people can be regarding anything trans or LGBTQ. Okay, well, if it helps, Deborah, working in a public library is like has to be. That's a job that I like.
You're doing the Lord's work.
You really are. I love that you work in a public library, and I'm sorry that you have those experiences. But thank you for the super chat, and thank you for being with us. And
thanks,
we'll keep yapping. We'll keep yelling at people. Thanks, Deborah.
Yay.
Woo. Okay, we'll keep yapping.
Well, I want to say something. Every time we do super chats, it feels like when the teacher calls on you for like the popcorn reading and all of a sudden you forget how to read. And then I always think of that meme that's like, I'm not going to say this meme exactly right, but I always want to say, hey, what's up? My name's Jared. I'm 16. I never fucking learned how to read. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
That's awesome.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, but please send it to me. Please send it to me. Oh my god. Thanks to our screeners and our mods and our wonderful producer, all of our patrons, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.